Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome yet again to this year's first new episode of the Wisdom Save podcast. As always, I'm Ken.
I'm Hannah.
First of all, welcome back.
Happy 2021.
Yeah, right. And what a brave new year it is. So some of you, most of you who are catching up with us, like as these episodes are airing, may notice that it is probably February once you watch this episode. I do remember that we mentioned taking like a week off in January when the new year started to just kind of like, take it easy, start the new year fresh. We turned that into a month.
It turned into like a Christmas, New Year, like a delayed break.
Yeah, we kind of just, like, we had been kind of going, like, for the most part, weekly for the last, we had, 25 episodes, so 25 weeks. So it's about a half a year. And we hadn't really taken, like, a prolonged break except for, like, little random things. And it was usually no more than a week off. So we figured we'd just take a little bit of a longer break, kind of, like, build up some new ideas, start over fresh, come up with some new things. So we ended up taking a week off. YouTube, maybe I'm just not smart enough to figure it out.
There's a way to do it. There's a way to like mention that, like to type things to people so they can see it or take polls. Because I've clicked on YouTube polls before, but I have no idea how the fuck to do it.
Well, I wonder if that's something that's like only available to people who have a certain number of followers or something like that.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm pretty sure like tiny little compilation channels do it and stuff. I think it's just a matter of like figuring it out and like. You might have to have a specific number of followers. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure anyone can just like write a weird poll. It's just
okay. Yeah, because I was looking for. I didn't
know how to do it.
Yeah, I didn't know how to do it off the top of my head. I looked around for a little bit, but I was looking for ways to kind of message me like, "Hey, we're taking a month off," but I didn't figure it out. But we're back. We intend to continue with our weekly upload schedule, starting from February onward for the rest of the year.
Well, because it wasn't all a break. We also did a lot of like planning and figuring out like our next podcasts and what we want to do with the year.
Yep, some bigger projects, some like mini projects, some new stuff. And that's kind of what we wanted to start this episode off with at the beginning. We kind of want to talk a little bit about some of the, like, in a broad scope, some of the plans that we have for our 2021 content lineup. For the most part, some of the things that Hannah and I have been working on and, like, planning and organizing, compared to the stuff that we did last year, it's a little bit more, like, experimental.
Somewhat.
Some of your ideas, especially, which I won't spoil anything, some of your ideas have been a lot more like series-based, and kind of like some sort of like long-form structured thing. And I think you can expect to see a lot more of that from us this year. Things that are, a lot of the same content that we've been putting out, but also
more structured.
Yeah, things that are more structured, things that are more like a sequential series of ideas, things that are a little bit more long form, and maybe things that are a little bit more experimental. We're kind of this is going to be a year of like we kind of figured out the basic things that work last year, and we did that pretty well for 25 episodes. Now we're going to keep doing that, but then kind of branch off a little bit. We're going to get a little crazy this year. Hopefully. And we have some things that we've hinted about, some very, very long form series like our Dungeons & Dragons campaign.
Right, which we wanted to start this year.
Yeah, we would like to start that this year when we have more information about it, because it's something that's going to take a lot of planning. It's an adventure concept that I'm going to be running. It is based off of an existing module, or that's what I intend it to be. But it's going to be just me and Hannah.
It's a one-on-one adventure, which is something you can do, but it's like it takes some ironing.
Yeah, it's required a lot of customizing and tweaking of the module that we will be running. So there will eventually be a big, long form D&D campaign that we upload. We may upload that in addition to episodes weekly. We may turn that into a full-fledged thing that we
like another branch of the podcast.
Yeah, like that's the thing. It could be. We haven't decided yet if we want it to be like, okay, we're doing the campaign and then that's going to be our episodes going forward for a period of time, or if we want to like do a like every other week thing, or if we want to like just literally branch into two separate. Like we'd have the D&D campaign and we'd have our regular podcast content. We haven't quite decided which of those we want to do yet, but
I'm pretty sure the branching's probably the better idea.
It probably is,
because not everybody wants to listen to our D&D campaign.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is it like, would we do it like, would it be like a half and half, like 1 week on, 1 week off, or would it be like we upload 2 episodes a week and one's our D&D podcast?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Hannah decided. That's what we're doing. But no, we'll keep you in touch with what our plans
when it's going to
are.
start and what's happening with it.
Yeah,
we're in the planning phase.
We'll do
obviously.
a little bit of like promo and stuff. We'll introduce you.
You'll know when it's coming. It's not coming yet.
It'll be a big thing. It's probably going to be like our biggest project this year.
Probably.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. So there's that. Second little like housekeeping piece of information. We are currently, don't know for how long of the foreseeable future, but we are currently in like an actual like quote unquote studio room right now.
It's a computer room studio thing.
That's the closest to studio room I have ever recorded any content in.
We're no longer in our bedroom or our garage. My sister Erica has her own house. Surprise, surprise for any millennials out there.
It's possible. You can actually do it.
Apparently.
Houses are real.
Houses are real, and you can have them sometimes. And she was generous enough to let us use her computer room as a like makeshift studio while the winter's going on at the very least. Mm-hmm. So that's probably why you can't hear our ferrets or my brother playing video games or people walking into the garage or any of the other weird like noises and cuts that you would be hearing normally in any of our other videos, and why the sound might actually be better than any of the other sound we've ever recorded. You may still hear my chair squeaking though, because my chair squeaks.
That's true, but I mean, that's whatever. Like, no, yeah, I mean,
rolling.
Yeah, it's like a little bonus content. You get a little squeaky chair action.
Yeah.
Just to confirm once and for all for anyone who wasn't already convinced that we do not, in fact, edit this podcast at all. No. We don't. We put it together.
Yeah, like the beginning of this. If the previous episodes haven't shown it to you, the beginning of this podcast will show it to you. We don't edit shit, and that's kind of like not the whole point, but like I don't think a lot of people edit podcasts unless you say shit that you're really not supposed to say.
Well, no, I mean like people will do things like they'll like brief cut out like little ums and ahs and or they'll like add in like music. Well, like I mean professional podcasts do, but that's not our angle. We're not doing that.
I also don't know if that's completely true. Like Rhett and Link do a podcast, and there's so many ums and ahs and weirdness.
Yeah, that's the thing. Not everybody does it, and like it's kind of like the bigger like an NPR podcast. Like if they were doing like a political news podcast, like an economic news podcast, something like that. It'd be like a lot more like production quality stuff. But like we're here
to have a real conversation. I'm not here to edit 4 hours of freaking talking.
We're going to talk about nerdy shit and ghost stories.
You're going to get ums and ahs and farts and burps and like chair squeaks and ferret sounds. Like, sorry, not sorry. Like
you just doomed us because now that means if a fart ever does happen, it's staying in.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to not stay in. I didn't do much to anything. I literally am just saying how it is.
It's like, destiny now.
We kind of talked about it with a few of our friends, and they were saying that when they listened to our podcast, it was like us sitting down with them in their house and having a conversation. Yeah. They were like, it's like you come in, you sit with us for like an hour or two, you have a conversation, and then you leave. And I'm like, I took that I was like, yeah, it's literally that. We're coming in.
I dig it.
We're having a conversation with you.
That's what I'm trying to do.
And then we leave. And you're going to get all the farts, burps, and ums and ahs. And I'm sorry, but that's how it goes.
I'm not sorry. I think that's what I like about this
I'm not
podcast.
actually sorry.
It's one of my favorite things about this podcast. We're real low key. We're just sitting around having like, it's like a fireside chat, but without like wine or fancy suits or anything.
Or fire.
Or fire.
Or a side. Just the chat. It's the chat.
It's pretty much just the chat, yeah. We're on the side of stuff. There's like sides.
There, I guess.
It's a side chat.
It's chat.
It's a chat.
It's chat.
Okay.
You won't believe. I mean, I said I wouldn't believe it.
Oh my god. Alright, so anyway, that's a perfect introduction to who we are as people, which is a great segue to tie into the topic at hand for today. So, for our first episode of 2021.
We're on one of Ken's episodes.
Yeah, we are. And what I decided would probably be a good idea. We have a bunch of people who have been listening to us since the beginning. We have some people who joined in kind of in the middle. But for the most part, they all have a general idea of what our content is like, and a little bit of a snapshot, like episode by episode, into who we are as people. But hopefully, 2021 will also bring with us new listeners and new people who are engaging with our content for the first time. So, what we decided we would, at least I decided that I would want to do, and then Hannah was on board with, was to kind of give you an introduction into who Hannah and I are as people, but sticking with the theme of the podcast. So we're going to play a little game, kind of a game, called Get to Know Us. But where it's kind of like, it's like you have different categories of information about a person, and then you kind of just like talk about what those categories are. We maybe like guess a little bit for each other.
I was going to say, are we going to try and like guess what the other put down for their answer?
Yeah, that's kind of the point. Like
Ken sent me a list of topics, things that I needed to pick for myself. And so I filled them out, and he filled them out. That's where the not knowing the other person's topic part comes in. And
yeah, because this one, unfortunately, you had to know all the points and you had to know the general gist, but the knowledge is like what are the answers?
We also might leave that trope like kind of semi-soluble.
Sure.
Like in 2021, like we'll probably leave parts of like our podcast secret or completely secret depending, but I'm loosening that rule this year. So it's like I could know your topic if you need me to know your topic, but like there are parts that could still be mysterious.
Yeah, and I think like in general, like we couldn't have done this if it wasn't.
If you didn't let me know the questions.
Yeah, because you'd have to just be like spending time like Googling it while we're
for
the most part you probably
for the most part I knew exactly the answers that I needed.
Yeah.
And luckily enough, like for a few of the ones that would be more complicated, I already had them in my phone pictures.
Oh wow, that's actually convenient.
But regardless.
Yeah. So anyway, as we were saying, the get to know us that we're doing is in keeping with the theme of the podcast and who we are as people. Let's get to know us nerdy edition. So
make it a little less creepy when we come into your house.
Yeah, exactly. There it is. And you invite us, our voices into your home or car, I guess. Some people listen to podcasts in their car.
Some people live in their car.
Some people live in their car. Yeah. If you live in your car, shout out. Sorry.
Some people might like it. Like, aren't like RVs like cars?
RVs are. I don't know. I get
buses are cars and can it be houses?
But I don't know if buses are cars.
Buses are cars.
Buses are vehicles.
Yeah, vehicles
cars
are cars.
Are cars. I don't. Well, okay, colloquially, sure, but like I don't know. I'd be like, oh, I live in my car, and then I go there, and then it's a bus.
If your car is like, a bus,
hold on,
and your house is a bus,
yeah, but your vehicle is a bus.
Then your house is your car.
Yeah, but a bus isn't really a bus is a like.
Okay, well, we're gonna waste the first 5 minutes of the podcast.
A bus is like 3 cars.
Okay, so we're gonna waste the first 5 minutes of this podcast me seeing if a bus is a car.
It has been way more than 5 minutes.
I mean, like the actual official part of the podcast. Podcast doesn't start until 15 minutes in. Voice to chat turned on.
That is kind of a trope of ours. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm printing something.
How did you hit your sister's printer?
I don't know.
Well, now it's gonna print like an ink test or something.
Is a bus a car?
You had to voice to text that.
According to Britannica, bus, any of a class of large, self-propelled, wheeled vehicles that are designed to carry passengers, generally on a fixed route.
But is it a car?
It said vehicle. It is a vehicle.
Yeah, but cars are also vehicles. Vehicles are cars.
Are squares rectangles?
Sure.
are rectangle squares.
Yes.
One of those is not true. I don't remember which one it is, but I learned that in high school. Well, a square, I think it's a square is, a rectangle is technically a square, but a square is not a rectangle. It's the same thing. A bus is a vehicle, and a car is a vehicle.
Buses are just cars that can carry more
all
people.
vehicles are not cars.
Oh, shut up.
I'm not wrong.
Buses are just cars that can carry more people.
Okay. But you wouldn't, like, if you lived in a bus, you wouldn't say, I live in a car.
Yeah,
You'd say, I live in
would.
a bus.
Obviously, I would.
Well, you would. I don't think most people would say that. Good Lord. Okay. So that's a little tidbit into who we are as people.
Yeah. Obviously.
It's a good start to the podcast.
Start your stupid podcast.
Yeah. Actually, you know what?
What?
That's a good point. Write in the comments. Bus. Is it a car? Or is it a vehicle? Is a vehicle always a car? You tell me. Is a bicycle a vehicle? We're not.
They don't have motors.
We're not doing that. Oh, maybe that's it. That's fair. Okay. All right. That's a good
Not
point.
all of them have motors.
That's a good point. Yeah, I guess some bikes do, but I don't know.
Like motorcycles have them.
Is a motorcycle a bike? I guess it is a bike.
Yeah.
It's like a very big
Is it
bike.
down to how many wheels? I don't fucking care anymore.
I'm in mid-sip of water. I thought I had a chance. Okay.
You never had a chance.
Anyway, Jesus Christ. I have developed a list of
I have the list.
You also have the list of different nerdy topics.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly like profiles of who we are or ways to define or describe ourselves using different like nerd subculture groups, or just like contemporary subculture groups,
Mm-hmm.
as ways to express ourselves and kind of define ourselves. You'll kind of get a better sense of what that means as we go through the topics, but these should all be pretty familiar to people who listen and engage with all of our content.
Okay.
So to start off, let's talk about our Hogwarts houses.
We should also first start by talking about how we know that J.K. Rowling is a giant bitch.
Yes. Okay. I almost forgot my disclaimer that I made a whole point to write out.
Love Harry Potter, but it was written by a giant owl that lives in the woods.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. The lore and mythology of Harry Potter is an important part of my childhood, and I am interested to engage with elements of it. There are elements of it that I find deeply problematic, that I don't think we had the capacity as children to address, and a lot of that, if not all of that, probably comes from the tortured brainchild of their weird, batshit crazy author.
Mm-hmm.
We don't condone J.K. Rowling at all. She sucks. I dramatically wish that she didn't write Harry Potter, which is why it was written by a very wise owl in the woods who tells no lies, and also isn't a transphobe.
Or a weird racist.
Or any of those things. So that being said, if you have not encountered Harry Potter content somehow in your life, I encourage you to do so, but only if you are able to steal it. I only encourage you to engage in Harry Potter content by spending money on it if you are able to do so without spending a single cent towards J.K. Rowling. Otherwise, just don't do it. People will tell you about it. It's fine.
Not
or you can
mention,
borrow books.
We, like many other people who like Harry Potter, are engaging in Harry Potter, but just ignoring and shunning its author.
Yes. Oh, yeah. No. She is garbage and should not be welcome in civilized society. That being said...
Regardless, the first thing we're going to be talking about is our Hogwarts
houses. Yeah. Briefly, for those of you who don't know, I'm assuming everybody does, so I'll go through it quickly, or at least as a general idea. characters who attend Hogwarts World of Witchcraft and Wizardry in the Harry Potter series are sorted into one of 4 houses, and each of these 4 houses have different unique characteristics that can be used to classify an individual. Sometimes someone carries elements of multiple different houses, but typically will solidly sit in one of the 4.
And if you don't know more about them, you should look them up.
Yes,
and read about them.
Steal Harry Potter
Well,
and the
I'm not on
Sorcerer's
Google.
Stone. I know,
Yeah.
you can also steal Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. God, I hope that my work doesn't listen to this podcast. Anyway.
I'm sure it doesn't.
It's fine. Anyway. Those 4 houses, of course, being the Gryffindor house, Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff, and Slytherin. So who wants to go first?
Are we going to guess first?
I was thinking whoever goes first would guess for the other person. Mm-hmm. And then the other person would guess for them, and then we reveal in the same order. So, like it would be like, for example, you guess me, I guess you, then you reveal yours, and I reveal mine.
Okay. Well, then who wants to go first? Do you want me to guess for you first, or do you want me to guess for me first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay. So this one is too easy.
Okay.
I think for you, because there are elements. Like, there are little things from certain houses besides this one that I'm thinking of.
Right.
That I'm like, I could see that for you a little bit. Mm-hmm. But nothing quite defines you so much as Slytherin House. Mm-hmm. Not to mention that I also have, when my comfortable pajama pants were in the washing machine, I have worn your Slytherin PJs. So I was pretty sure I was right on this one.
Right.
I feel like we've had discussions about this before, but Slytherin, 100% for you. The cunning, the ambition, the just general, like, I'm gonna do my thing, you do your thing. If anybody has a problem with it, they can fuck off. Mm-hmm. Kind of attitude that the Slytherin has there, like the strong sense of these are the things that I like to do, and this is what I want to do, and I'm going to do that. Mm-hmm. And people who are obstacles to that just driving you nuts. Like when you have a day when you're just like, I just want to relax. Anyone who is standing in the way of you relaxing is your worst enemy, and they will suffer your wrath, and that's a very Slytherin trait.
Yeah, you're not wrong. No need to hide it.
Yeah.
But now I have to guess you.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm taking a sip of something.
We've had conversations, I think, about this before, but I want to see if you're still feeling.
I don't if we've had conversations about this before, I do not remember them.
Okay. Well, that helps.
As you know, my space in my brain that has information in it, very limited. I think that you're a Gryffindor.
Okay. Why?
Mainly because it's hard to explain.
Give me your best shot.
Because Gryffindors are the righteous, I want to do good, and this isn't it's gonna sound like an insult, but it's obviously not. It's social justice.
I don't take that as an insult.
That's why I didn't want. There's for the past 4 years with Trump being president, I feel like if anyone hears that, they're like, oh, you're trying to come after me for wanting to do good things.
Yeah.
And it's that's not what I'm doing.
Right.
It's I'm trying to think of an example. There's there's a YouTube channel, Unis Honest.
Yeah.
And they did a year-long channel, and then they closed it down. And somebody re-uploaded all the episodes.
Oh shit, that's right.
And hopefully this doesn't get them shut down. But I am I want to watch the episodes, and I am. because I'm like, it's on. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm not I don't care if they wanted it to be on for a year and then be gone.
Basically, the whole point of this channel was they did a whole project where they uploaded a video every year, and then at the end of the year, they deleted the entire channel and then promised that like now it is a memory that we all collectively shared, but the content is gone.
Like, it was a social experiment. No one was supposed to re-upload them.
Yeah, and if anyone was re-uploading things, they would make a point to like delete the channel because the point of it was to not be available anymore. It was something that happened.
Somebody uploaded the videos again.
Right. And hasn't gotten shut down.
Missed the episodes. So I wanted to watch them.
Yeah.
And I am. Because I'm like, you know what? Fuck your stupid experiment. Like, I love what you did. I want to watch the episodes again, and I'm going to.
Right.
And so I'm watching the episodes, and then it's like, well, I have mixed feelings about it. And I'm like, why? And you're like, well, because, I mean, it was supposed to be, like, a thing, and it's just, and I get the whole, like, oh, well, they're the ones that made it, no one else should be making money off of it kind of thing.
Sure.
Like, and, like, of course, I don't, like, want people to, like, steal the people that I enjoy, like, content and stuff.
Yeah, of course.
I assume, like, in a few days it's going to get taken down.
Yeah.
So I'm not really that concerned. They're not going to make money off of it. And, so I'm just like, and you're like, I don't know, it's supposed to be like a thing that like only was uploaded for a year, and you're not supposed to watch them anymore. And I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Who cares?
And the thing is, like, I'm not the kind of person that's like, oh, I can't even listen to this. It's not like it's on in the background. I'm listening to it. I'm laughing along with her. Yeah. But I'm not the kind of person who's gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna sit down and watch these with you, because I'm just like, I have to distance myself from it. Partially because I know, like, if I sit down and really do it, I'm just gonna get fucking sucked in again. I'm like, I have to watch every episode.
Right.
And it's like I don't have like 190 hours to like just watch an entire YouTube series again.
But so that's why I think you're a Gryffindor.
Because like, I have a strong attachment to, like, rules and order and structure. I get that. And there was definitely points in my life. What's up?
I can also see, like, Ravenclaw because of, like, how much you, like, plan and, like, all that other stuff. Or, like, Hufflepuff because you like to be cozy and relaxed and, like, have snacks. But, like, everyone has elements of these. It's almost like the magic colors where everyone has a little.
Yeah, right. And that's the best thing about a personality profile is like.
But I think mainly it's Gryffindor for you.
Okay. It's complicated.
Okay.
Because for the longest time, when I was a kid, and especially when I was reading the Harry Potter series, I super identified with Gryffindor.
Yes.
Mostly because I was a child with a very overactive imagination, and I wanted to be the main character of the story.
Right.
So the fact that most of the main characters of the Harry Potter series were from Gryffindor House meant that was what I wanted to be.
Okay.
And so I identified with it, and I like elements of my personality I think were shaped by that. Not like taken from, but like I wanted to live up to the ideals that were presented. As I got older and like kind of became my own person, it turned super hard to Hufflepuff.
Oh yeah.
I really strongly identify, and still do pretty strongly identify with Hufflepuff. I'm all about like hard work, hard play. Do all the things I need to do, and then just shut down. Diligent, but also fair. I'm all about like I have like an immeasurable amount of patience, especially with bullshit, to the point where like people will be actively shitty to me, and then I'm just like, oh, okay, well, let's figure this out. Like, which is a very Hufflepuff trait. It's all about like you're patient.
They shouldn't treat you like that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's that John Mulaney bit where he's like, when I got a girlfriend, I didn't realize that I could stand up for myself, but now it's like this is weird. That's kind of me too. Like I'm just like, wait a minute, yeah, you're right. That is kind of a shitty thing that's happening, and you're just like, yeah. How did you not notice that? And I'm like, I just kind of let people do whatever, and I just deal with it. Which are very strong Hufflepuff traits. I think I'm weirdly somewhere in the middle. I think that kind of their parts of my personality that really go one way or the other. My sense of I guess my weird sense of chivalry, the idea of doing good for good's sake and going out of my way to sacrifice sometimes my own needs for the benefit of other people is a very Gryffindor trait. And my intense predisposition. That's probably the same word but less complicated. Towards helping people and making a point to be available for people to help them, even when I don't necessarily have the energy for it. Those are very Gryffindor traits. They're also maybe some of my most negative traits. They're the ones I kind of take too far.
Right.
My Hufflepuff is me in my very relaxed state. It's me when I'm at home and I have a day off and I just want to listen to music and play video games. But it's also me.
I think you're a Gryffindor even in those moments, though.
But that's kind of the point that
you're the one that's I'm relaxing. I should be doing this though.
Yeah.
And it's okay, well, could you chill though, maybe? And you're yeah, but I should be doing this. And it's
that's the thing is that I'll see I have a whole I literally did this yesterday. I'm I have a whole day off. I'm just gonna play video games all day, and I'm gonna treat myself. And then I was and then I'm gonna but I'll pick you up from work. And then after we do that, we might as well run out and do some errands. And then, actually, while we're doing that, we'll go home and then I'll work on this other thing. And then, I'm going to go, fold some laundry. And then I'm going to, organize all this other stuff.
Yeah, and those are your days off.
Yeah, and I finally sat down to play video games at 9:45 at night last night when I was I'm going to just sit and play all day. And I woke up at 11 to drop you off at work. And then that was it. I was just I didn't.
And even
it
in
took
the
me
things,
10 hours to relax.
And even in the things you relax with, you're an overachiever.
Sure. Okay, that's fair.
You sit down to play video games, and you're yeah, and that's when I relaxed. Except then I listen to you play video games and relax, bunny ears, for 4 hours or so. And you're just sitting there, okay, well, I could do this. And you turn to Midoriya from fucking My Hero Academia. You're just sitting there okay, but if I do this,
where I'm planning. Well, yeah, because I'm playing it's a dungeon crawler game. I gotta I gotta organize my resources and I gotta make sure I have all the right stuff.
Right, but that's everything you do.
Yeah, and I can't. That's the thing. I can't just play a game where it's just I'm not the kind of person that's gonna sit down and be I'm gonna play Stardew Valley. I want to farm and I want to pet animals. I'm the kind of person who's I need to play a resource builder. I need to organize my party. I need to strategize everything. I gotta play this really intense RPG and try out these different battle strategies and stuff. And
I think that's why, despite what you think, you enjoy things that Hufflepuffs enjoy.
Yeah.
But you do it as a Gryffindor.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. I think that ultimately is how it works out. Is that there was a period in my life where I identified strongly with Gryffindor. There's a period in my life where I identified strongly with Hufflepuff. And as I'm entering this kind of independent adult phase of my life, not child and then awkward teenager to college age. Now that I'm in this adult phase of my life, I feel Gryffindor has kind of taken over again, and that's kind of my my productivity, my sense of control of my environment is trying to be okay, I'm the leader. I gotta take charge of my own life, kind of thing, which I think is a very Gryffindor trait. I agree.
And I'm a Slytherin.
You're so a Slytherin. This wasn't hard.
Yeah, I don't have to go into all that hemming and hawing because I'm just a Slytherin. I'm just a Gryffindor, but a cunt.
Is that how you see Slytherin? Is it just it's Gryffindor but with a spicy attitude?
No, that's how they described it in the books at some point. They were Gryffindor and Slytherin don't get along because they're so similar, but then it's supposed to be Gryffindors are meh, and Slytherins are meh.
Yeah. Leadership quality and ambition go side by side.
Yeah.
Some of the most established Gryffindors have good leadership skills, and some of the most established Slytherins are very ambitious. Mm-hmm. And the two of those kind of interact, but usually in the way of a high-end Gryffindor is a motivational speaker, and a high-end Slytherin is a businessman.
Yeah,
or
I'm
a politician.
Not a businessman.
Yeah,
but...
you're more of the Slytherin that hung around the common room by the fire, and you were drawing and talking shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I respect that on a deep level, and I feel like, but I also feel like Gryffindors and Slytherins can get along once they get out of each other's asses.
Yeah.
And Hufflepuffs especially, I think, also get along with Slytherins really well.
Hufflepuffs get along with everyone.
That's true. That's also a good point. Well, that's part of what it was too. Is I kind of felt like I can easily get along with everybody. But sometimes it's because I let people walk all over me, and I'm like, that's fine. I can be treated that way, and it's not a problem. So yeah, I think you're right. I think Gryffindor is the phase of my life I'm in right now.
So now on to the second
topic. Yeah, the second of few.
Of many.
This is our Dungeons and Dragons character alignment.
Okay.
We're not going to go through all 9 of them.
No.
But all of you who are listening have probably seen, if you don't know D&D, you've already seen these. This is like the 3x3 grid of 9 squares that's like lawful to chaotic and good to evil, and you fall somewhere on that like categorical spectrum of things. That's this. That was inspired by Dungeons and Dragons. It's basically a determination of where do you fall on the like moral alignment chart of good versus evil, and the ethical alignment chart of law and order versus chaos and freedom. Mm-hmm. That kind of thing. So that being said, I guess I'm going first again?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
What do I think your alignment is?
Yeah.
Sometimes I question it in certain moments, but I'm pretty sure you're chaotic good.
What moments do you question it? What do you think I am otherwise?
Chaotic neutral.
Chaotic neutral.
Yeah. You're definitely chaotic.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind. And I don't think it's because you're like a necessarily disorganized person. You have way too much anxiety to be disorganized.
Right.
It's because you hate it when other people tell people what to do.
Or me.
Or especially you what to do. But also just in general, you're just like, who the fuck does this person think they are?
Yeah.
Like, what are you, middle management? Fuck off. Like, who do you think you are? Those are very strong chaotic traits.
I literally did that yesterday.
Yep.
My bosses tell us, like, okay, so I'm not going to explain my whole work situation to you, but my bosses basically, like, make us do our entire job alone. Mm-hmm. So I work anywhere between 4 to 6 hours by myself managing an entire store.
Right.
And then they call me my last hour and give me a whole bunch of new jobs to do while I'm closing. Like, oh, you should clean the bathroom. Oh, you should, like, organize this. Oh, you should clean the oven. Oh, you should do this, that, and the other thing. Well, I'm in the middle of closing, and I'm like, okay, no. But just yesterday, I was working with my coworker for the first time in a month, and they gave us a bunch of cleaning things to do, and I didn't do any of them. And I went to leave, and I was telling my coworker, I was like, sorry, I didn't clean anything. She's like, oh, don't worry, it's fine. It's like, I just kind of did what I always do when they tell me to do extra jobs and didn't.
Right.
It's not because I don't like cleaning. It's because they give me a bunch of shit to do last minute and I don't want to.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't do it.
The bathrooms do get cleaned just on a regular basis. Not on the weird basis of when they tell me to do it 2 hours before I leave.
Exactly. Yeah, at that point, it's like, what is happening?
Like, I've already cleaned it today. Leave me alone. But, sorry, I cut you off.
Oh, no, you're absolutely fine. So, for sure,
chaotic.
You are chaotic. I think there are moments where I'm just like, maybe you'd be willing to compromise your morals for certain things.
What morals?
Well, that's kind of like, that's the thing, is that like, I feel like your morality is based upon this central idea of like everybody is kind of their own person, mm-hmm. and they deserve the right to be able to make their own good or bad decisions. Mm-hmm. And like, I'm not going to tell other people what to do, and I hate it when other people tell me what to do. So I'm just going to kind of live my life. And I feel like sometimes that means that like, there are certain situations where like somebody's doing something that isn't necessarily like harmful, but is also not really like good, and you're just like, whatever. Like someone who's like very strongly good aligned is really like, oh, we need to do something about that, and you're just like, if he wants to be a fuck up, let him be a fuck up. Like,
right.
Yeah. Which I think, like, I don't think that makes you, like, I mean, obviously it doesn't make you a bad person.
Mm-hmm.
From the perspective of someone who's, like lawful good. Like, oh, everyone has to follow the rules. It's like, they're like, oh, what's, like, how could you just let, like, look the other way at that? And it's like, it's not my fucking business.
It's not affecting anyone except for them.
Right. But I think ultimately, like, when it comes down to it, like, you are the kind of person that wants to, like, do and see good come from the world.
Mm-hmm.
You're just a little bit more aggressive. Like, not, like, aggressive towards it, but aggressive about it.
Mm-hmm.
You're just kind of more like, I identify that the people who are doing harm suck.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate them, but also I'm not the kind of person that's going to sit there and say, like, I know how to solve these problems. Like, we just,
even
like,
if I do.
Yeah, we can just all acknowledge that they're garbage, and we'll do what we have to do about it when it comes time to. But right
Mm-hmm.
now, I'm just trying to live my life.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit more of like a hands-off chaotic good, but I think in general, like, you want to see good come from the world.
Okay.
How about me?
Well, I was gonna say, where did you land? Chaotic good or chaotic neutral?
Where did I end up landing for you? I think you're chaotic good.
Okay.
I think ultimately you're chaotic good. I think you're a little bit more hands-off. Like, you're the kind of person. Here's a great way to put it that may only make sense to some of you. You're the kind of person who would definitely be chaotic good. You would have chaotic good written on your character sheet. But you would be in a party with the Mighty Nine, not with Vox Machina.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay. So for you...
You're more chaos.
You're like a weak lawful good.
Weak lawful?
Yeah, almost.
And then good?
Yeah, weak lawful
Okay.
and then good.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe, like, I don't know.
Like leaning
neutral
lawful?
good? Yeah, like, leaning lawful. You're not actually lawful, but you,
Okay.
like, lean that way.
Sure.
What comes before lawful? Like, neutral? Neutral good?
It's lawful, neutral, chaos.
Yeah, because I don't think you're chaotic.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, there's elements to it, but, like, my idea of chaos is like, ooh, I stole some gum from the grocery store. Like,
no, you're the guy that wants me to hit that I took one bag, regardless of there being a cashier.
okay.
Which is why I say you're lawful leaning.
First of all, yes. You don't have to drag me that hard, but yes.
I'm making my point.
What if they see you? We're gonna get in trouble.
Oh, wow. 10 whole cents that they lost? Wow.
That's a really good point, and I have no argument for it.
Also, they're not going to be able to tell which one you fucking touched.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. I don't have enough of the rebel spirit in me, you know?
Yeah, you're not chaotic.
Damn.
You're neutral at best, lawful leaning.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And then I'd say good, because that's the only other one I have.
Yeah, and, like, I mean, like,
you're not evil.
Yeah.
you're not like true neutral. You're not like lawful neutral.
Yeah, like, where it's like I follow the rules and I don't really care about what they have to do more. Like, I follow rules because they're because they're good. Like, I don't like, I'm also the kind of person that only follows good rules. Or neutral rules. Like, bad rules I won't follow. If someone's like, you need, like, I'm the kind of person where if someone came to me and they were like, you need to join the military so we can go shoot people, I would be like, actually fuck off, and we'd move somewhere.
Yeah, if there is like a law that's like, you have to punch this baby in the face before you can go in the door, I don't think you'd do that.
No, God no, absolutely not. But if there was a law, but neutral laws, I will obey. Like really,
paying 10 cents for a bag.
Yeah, like paying 10 cents for a bag, or putting your shopping cart back. Sometimes I'm lazy, but
I think there was a time where I did that and I put the cart against the store. And you were like, what the hell?
Yeah, I was like,
and I was like, everyone does that shit. I get it. It sucks. But, like, my feet hurt. I just worked. I'm done. I'm not moving this cart. And then you moved it.
I did. Because I felt bad for the cart person.
That's literally their whole job.
Yeah, but, like, I don't want to work when
I know. I usually go out of my way to try and be nice to the people that are working customer service because it is bullshit.
You're usually really good about it.
But sometimes I'm done.
Yeah.
and I don't want to drag the cart 5 feet.
Yeah, and you're never like rude to people. You're just like, I don't want to do this extra
And I'm not
step.
leaving it in a car space, and I'm not pushing it into people's cars, and I'm not like tipping it over or stealing the carts like I did when I was 16 years old. I'm just putting it against the building 5 feet away. They can retrieve it. I used to do it for fun when I worked in the deli. Like, I liked getting the carts.
That's chaos, baby.
What if they like getting the carts? Maybe this is their thing.
What did you do with cart? What do you mean you stole carts? How did you steal
we would push them into the bog.
Push them into the bog?
Yeah, bog. Like
you would you took carts and just pushed them into the swamp?
Well, because it was like a big hole in the ground. It wasn't actually a swamp.
Well, yeah, but like, what do you do with it after that?
Cars go.
You just leave it in the bog?
Yeah, usually they'd come and get them. It's like right across the street.
Yeah, but like, why?
Because we were 16 and car go.
That's chaos, baby.
Like
Jesus Lord. All right, cool.
It was fun.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'm definitely not chaotic aligned. If that's where that is, then no, that ain't me. You're right.
Yeah, like I'm
right.
not going to go over this in the podcast. But I'll talk to you about where it is later on. They're not in there anymore. They came and got them.
I know. Yeah, I'm vaguely familiar with what you're talking about. I know like the location about the specific grocery store.
But yeah, I think you're lawful leaning and good.
I think you're right. I put myself as a neutral good.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely do think I
leaning lawful.
I had a caveat. Yeah, I'm neutral good leaning lawful. There are many rules.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's what we said. It stays in.
Well, I didn't say take it out. I just said sorry.
You're right. There are many rules that I won't follow. There are probably more that I will, just because they're close to effortless in my mind.
Uh-huh.
Like when something you'll see the lawful fall when it's when it is a lot of effort to uphold it. Like if it's oh yeah, go like shopping cart as an example. We parked on the opposite side and I have to go walk across the fucking parking lot to go put it back. No, I'm not doing that.
Sometimes you do.
Sometimes I do, but not all the time. So when I'm tired, my ability to obey laws fade. Sometimes I do shit not read, and that makes me accidentally break laws. Like that time that I thought that 4 100 count packs of paper plates was one pack of paper plates, and I bought one and came home, and you were like, "Baby, you got 4?" I was like, "No, I got the big," and then I started to peel them apart. And
I was taking them apart,
and they just came apart, and I was like, "Oh no, I stole 300 paper plates."
Yeah, but see, the thing is your reaction was, "Oh no, I stole extra paper plates," and my thing was like, "Yeah, extra plates."
You're right. You're like, "Fuck yeah, let's go." And I was so upset about it. I'm like, I can't believe I did that. I feel so bad. And you're like, they are a corporation that you steal from them.
They're a corporation
right.
that makes you pay 10 cents for plastic bags, and then instead of giving it to the people that save the environment like they're supposed to, they take it and they keep it.
Yeah, you're right. Fuck that shit.
Take their paper plates. Who cares?
Yeah, you're right. That's fair. Yeah, I definitely put myself in neutral, but I think I am neutral. How about you? You think you're chaotic good?
Chaotic good? I wrote myself down as chaotic good, but I feel like I'm chaotic good leaning neutral. I think good and neutral wavers for me.
Are you chaotic? Are you maybe chaotic neutral leaning good in the way I'm neutral good leaning lawful?
Yeah.
Think? Yeah. When it comes down to it, you're going to be on the right side of an important moral debate. But in a general sense, you're not going to be I'm going to do that because it's the right thing to do. You're going to do it because you want to or you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it really comes down to a good or a bad decision, I'm going to pick the good side of it. When it comes down to being a racist or not being a racist.
Yeah, you're going to not.
I'm not a racist.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to just let other people be racist.
Right. But
I'm not doing it because I'm oh, it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, you're doing
I'm doing it because fuck you. Everyone's people.
Yeah. That plays. I think this whole line of conversation plays really neatly into our next topic.
Mm-hmm. Are you a racist?
No.
And the answer for both of us is no.
Yeah, that's okay. Bonus topic. No. If you're a racist, stop listening.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like you're not welcome here. But anyway.
If you're a racist, bye! Bye! Bye!
Wait, that's the thing. Do you think we covered enough of that topic to move on to the next one?
Yeah, we have agreed with the answers we've come up with, I believe.
Okay, cool. So I've said before on this podcast that there are two things that I think are kind of inexorably linked with each other that I use a lot in my own design for my Dungeons & Dragons campaigns, and that's the concept of Dungeons & Dragons character alignment and Magic the Gathering's color alignment. So that's going to be our next topic, is color alignment.
We have previously discussed the color alignment in length. If you do not know what it is, either look it up on Google or go back to a previous episode with the color alignments, because we went over it for a while.
Yeah, we have exhausted that topic on this podcast. It is one of my personal pet topics that I love to talk about and psychoanalyze with. We're not going to go over it here because
we've already gone over it in the past and plan to probably go over more of it in the future, so you should just go back.
Oh, hell.
If you're not going to go back and listen to any of the other podcasts, go back and listen to the color alignment ones.
Yes. We go into detail on those and talk about it a lot on this podcast. So, color alignments.
Which one do we think we are?
This is different because we've taken this test before.
There is a test that we linked in the other podcast.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Also, go back. I believe it's episode 4 of our podcast. Was the first one. Go back if you want to know more about this or you want to understand where it comes from. Go back to Wisdom Save episode 4 on our channel, still uploaded. Go into the thingy in the bottom.
The description.
The description. The description. And we will. There will be a link there, and you can take a test. I recommend the 150 question test.
We could also potentially link it again.
We could also link it again if we want to. If you're
already going back to the color alignment video,
yeah, at that point you might as well just click on it. With that being said,
we've both taken this at least twice before,
and it fluctuates and it changes. But where do we think we're at now? I think, and what does that mean for all of us? Oh, make sure the volume's off.
I wasn't going to click on them. I was just going to double check our.
Oh, double check the thing. Okay, gotcha. But yeah, so I guess I'll go first. What color alignment do I think you are?
Yeah.
That's complicated.
It's not complicated.
No. Well, the thing is, I'm between two things.
Okay.
You've taken the test before. And twice. And I know what your results were both times. The question is, do I think that any aspects of that have changed fundamentally enough that it is affected what I would define your color alignment as? I'm leaning towards yes.
Oh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you may have potentially dropped a color.
Dropped a color?
And elements of the other two, because you were 3.
Oh, you mean dropped in the percentage of a color, not dropped the color? Or just dropped the color, now I'm 2 colors?
I think that you are probably 2 colors. You may lean towards this third one, but I don't think, the current you as you are is enough defined by that. I feel like most of your personality draws from the other 2 colors.
Okay.
I think that you are red-green.
Okay.
Red-green is characterized by... red is characterized by it's motivation-based, as all the color alignment, the different colors are. It's about why you do the things you do, not about the things you do, because every color can do different things for different reasons. It's all about the motivation. Red is motivated by a desire for freedom and a desire for personal expression. Red is passionate. Red is energized. Red is like a constant flame. Green is very zen. Green is very focused on the family and the natural world and the things that are tangible and immutable. They're focused on the things that aren't artificial. They care about just the things that exist within their sphere. A character who combines those 2 elements of red and green is someone who is very focused on the now and very focused on the moment. Someone who thinks and lives by their gut. and by their instinct. Someone who is very driven by their own natural sense of their surroundings and is able to react quickly based on how they feel in a moment. Popular examples of red-green characters that I think match you a little bit.
Okay.
Aang from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Aang?
There's bits of it. There's bits of it in there. It's
nothing like Aang.
There are moments when like things get like real serious, and you're just like, okay, like we gotta avoid that. And we gotta like chill out a little bit. There's elements of that.
Because I'm more red than green. He's more green.
He's
than red.
way more green than red. Yes. But yeah,
I used to be more green.
I think so too. I think you're a lot more red now, and I think that because you've become so red, I think that's why you're not. The third color you used to get a lot in those tests is blue. And I don't necessarily think that blue, like, I think it's very close. I think you're teetering on the edge, and that would be your third color. But I have a sneaking suspicion that if you retook that test again today, you wouldn't pick up blue. You'd get blue in, like, the high, like in terms of the scores on the quiz, like high 150, 160 area, like it'd be way up there. But I don't think it would be enough that it would register as one of your prime, because I think your red and your green would be so high it overshadows it.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you kind of dived into that. I don't quite know why. Maybe it's just like how nuts this whole year has been.
Yeah.
But like I think you've kind of like that sort of like contemplative, like constantly like driven, like the blue aspect of you was the part of you that like when you find something you like, you just fucking zero in on it. I think you've become a lot more like broad, a lot more like zen in the things that you like are interested in and are experiencing. You play into more of the green and you play into more of the red. It's just like, I don't have time for that. I gotta go fucking do this. Whereas like the blue aspects of you are the parts that like find a thing that you're interested in and you just tunnel vision into it.
Yeah.
It still shows up. Like in your tarot card project.
Yeah.
Where one day you woke up and you're just like, I want to make a tarot card deck out of D&D stuff, so I'm gonna draw 72 new pieces of art.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's okay, she's going in. And that it still shows up, but I don't think it's like a core at the moment.
Right.
For
for you, God, I know we've had this conversation before.
Hell yeah.
A bunch. And I keep telling you that you're blue, and you keep telling me, no, you're white. And I don't agree.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure you know I don't agree because I never have.
That's true.
I think
we have had many conversations about this.
Yeah, and I feel like I won all of them. So I think you're blue.
Sure. That is a thing you would think, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a fact.
So proud of you.
You're
never change.
I don't plan on it. I feel like you're blue, and then I think there's another color that we've talked about you being, and I can't remember what it was. Blue. I don't think you're red, and I don't really.
You don't think I'm red.
I don't think you're red. Except I think you think you're red.
I definitely do.
Because I'm pretty sure you think you're like Boros colored.
Red and white?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah, bro. But also like, I guess. Like, what are you, a cop?
No. That's just the Boros Legion on Ravnica, red and white. There's a million different expressions of red white when it comes to like red white's motivations are coming. You know who's red white? Who's a great example of someone who's red white in modern like society? Bernie Sanders. He's red white.
Love that man.
Yeah. Oh, him and his fucking mittens and his one jacket. God, love that man.
Me and Ken just made a pact recently that he is the only person we can leave each other for.
Oh, Bernie Sanders is our hall pass.
Yeah. I was. You don't remember that?
I remember that.
He was playing video games,
reminded.
And I was like, Bernie Sanders is the only man I'd ever leave you for, and I expect the exact same in return.
That is how that went, yeah. I was a little spontaneous, too, which I was kind of just like, are you like...
You're talking about Bernie Sanders?
We were, but you were just kind of just like, yeah, he's our hall pass. Like, he's the only man I'd leave you for. And you would have to do the same. Like, you should do the
You
same
have
thing.
to do the same.
Yeah,
Like, if
and
he was like, I need you.
I mean, you're right,
I'd
would,
like,
but
go.
also, like, whoa. Like,
higher things are calling you, my dear. Go to him.
Oh, it's amazing. But yeah, he's a good example. White red is the color combination that is riddled with contradictions. They're the kind of person that, like, they use one color's goals and the other color's actions.
If anything, I think you might be like blue and white. I think you might be white and blue.
You think I'm blue-white?
Yeah.
Oh, do you think I'm fucking Azorius? You think I'm like a fucking,
Yeah.
You think I'm a time cop?
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna be a cog, might as well be a time cop.
I guess if there's a way to be a cop, it's better be time. No, I know. I get what you're saying with the blue.
No, you
and
don't.
It's because
you keep disagreeing.
but that's the thing. No, but that's the thing. I disagree.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying because I've had this conversation not just with you, but with so many people. So many of my friends are just like, no, I think you might be blue. I don't think so. And the thing is, like the blue aspects that you see in me are the very, like, cerebral, very studied things. The times when I sit down and I'm like, okay, like with my video game yesterday, when I'm like, okay, so I have these weapons and I need to get these stats and these weapons to upgrade them. So I'm gonna go run through these dungeons to get these things so I can get these item enchantments. So I can, and then I have like spreadsheets and I have like phone notes. So I have to fucking charge my phone while I'm playing video games so I can read through my phone notes so I can see my spreadsheets and stuff. I can see where you think that's a very blue trait because blue is hyper cerebral, but it's not being hyper fixated on like knowledge and learning are really only a heavily blue trait in like the game of Magic because they have to put something on the cards and wizards reading magic books is a thing.
Well, then describe me this. What is blue?
Blue is the color that above all other things is never satisfied with just achieving. Blue achieves and then sees the next goal. Blue is never done improving. Blue's ultimate goal is essentially omniscience. It seeks to perfect itself by knowing everything, and one can never stand still if they want to, in the pursuit of all knowledge, in the pursuit of all understanding. Blue wants to always be able to solve a problem, but blue also takes its time and thinks and overthinks about everything in order to solve that problem.
And how are you not just describing yourself right now?
Because my planning is hyper chaotic. Like, the most chaotic aspect of myself is the way that I interact with things. I will be like, okay, I'm playing my video game. Here's my weapons. Here's the things that I want to upgrade. Here's the things I have to do. And then I'll get through it, and then something else will happen, and I'm just like, okay, actually, fuck that. And then I'll just do something totally different.
Well, then if anything, you're blue-red.
It's like a crazy space. And that's the thing. That's the argument that I think makes the most sense.
Because literally the definition you gave me for blue, that's you, dude.
But here's the thing. I don't really see myself, like, I do see myself eventually being satisfied with a certain amount of progress.
I don't.
I will get to a point.
You want to do things forever and always. You cannot stop. You could never stop yourself. You're literally in the middle of sleep and you go, I need to do this. I need to do that. And I'm like, just fucking go take your nap. You're sleeping. Stop it. And you're like, but I need to do the things. I haven't done the things. And you stop at the end of the day and you go, I didn't do enough. I didn't do enough. And it's like, dude, you'll never be satisfied. You think you might be. You never will.
Interesting.
Ever.
It makes me wonder if maybe, like, because whenever I take that test, I always get white-red or white-red something. It's never blue. I get white-red, or last time I got white-red-green. And that's what I put myself as. But it almost makes me wonder if maybe, like, just the specific way that I interact with the world around me, if there's something about the way that test is designed that isn't picking that up. Because everyone is always shouting.
I feel like you might be a little biased when you take it. You understand the colors, and you have an understanding of what you think you are.
Ooh. Okay.
And so you're answering how you think that you must be, like, working for the test.
Shit. Okay.
And thus subtly manipulating your answer.
That's pretty reasonable. But the thing is, like, how do I account for that bias? That's hard.
Have me take it with you.
Okay, we might do that. Wait, is that a new podcast idea?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Because I guarantee you, like, I'm like 100% sure you're blue. And it happens every time. I'm like, okay, well, what is blue? And you explain it to me, and I tell you, that's you, dude. And you're like, no, it's not though. And that's the red fucking part. You're like, no, it's not. It's not me. It's not me. It isn't. And it's like, it is.
Yeah.
And I know it is. Because I'm looking at you, and I'm experiencing you, and you're blue. There has to be some in there.
Maybe I'm. This term is only going to make sense to like three of you. Maybe I'm Jess guy.
What? That doesn't make sense to me.
Red, white, blue.
Maybe.
All the color combinations have names. The magic setting of Ravnica has 10 like organizations that are each of the 2 color combinations. They use those names to represent them. We mentioned Boros before. That's what red and white is. All the 3 color combinations also have a fancy fantasy name that represents how those combinations interact. And there's a wide spectrum of people within that, but they generally account for that. So you, I would argue, you're either Gruul, which is red, green, or maybe sometimes Teamer, which is green, red, blue. You're saying I'm probably either like is it or just. I still think I'm white. I still think I have white.
You might, but everyone has a little bit of everything, and I think mainly it's probably blue and red for you.
Yeah, but I follow too many rules just for the sake of following rules, and I'm like too self-sacrificing to a fault at times.
Yeah, then probably there's some white in there, but I think there's more blue to you than you would acknowledge.
I think that makes me the same color combination as Nova. That's you're one of your D&D character's kids.
Yes.
Yep. He's a sweet, gentle boy.
But for my written answer.
Yeah, what did you write down?
Both times I took the color alignment quiz,
it gave you
green, red, blue.
Yes.
But
in that order, right?
The first time I took it, it gave me green, red, blue.
Yeah.
The second time I took it, it gave me red, green, blue.
You got more red, yeah. I think that blue is kind of falling off. I think like you're like very red, even more like more green, but less so than red. And then I think that's it. I think you're just kind of chilling there.
I think I have just like enough of a splash of blue, and that's just my ambition. And I feel like it's only disappearing because I'm getting depressed.
Yeah, well, that's what the seasonal depression do be hitting different.
Well, that coupled with the being crammed into one room of our home during a global pandemic, and having to go back to work during a global pandemic, and literally taking care of an entire store by myself, and like just generally wanting to be asleep during the winter, like has made me less motivated.
I think that's a pretty reasonable look at that. Yeah, and that's the thing about the colors too, is that they're very they're malleable. Like you will parts of you will change at different points in your life in reaction to the world around you, because it changes your motivations.
Well, I think that's also what's increased my red is just I hate the world more.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. Just more angry.
After the pandemic and after I get back out there and get more motivated, come back again, I'll probably just be green, red, blue again. But
you might be. Yeah.
I don't think I'm ever going to change out of that color combo unless I drop blue. Because
I don't think you ever add white, or I don't think you ever add black. I don't think you're ambitious to the point of cutthroat.
No.
Yeah.
I
think you're ambitious, but I don't think you're ambitious to the point of fuck other people out of it.
Yeah, well, I guess that doesn't make any sense. It's I don't think I'll ever add white or black. The only time I'm ever ambitious to a point of being a cutthroat is that I've stated before that if I am ever attacked, I will kill whoever's attacking me.
That's just laws of nature. That's just
green red.
Yeah. If a random animal sees an injured dog in the woods, and then they run up to it, and the dog turns out to be a wolf and bites their fucking throat out, that's just nature, baby. Yeah. If they want to pick a fight with you, and you take them out, that's the way it is.
And that is not a threat. That is a promise. I will die standing my ground, or I will kill who's attacking me. I don't care if I go to jail. It's just how it's gonna go. Don't attack me.
Nope. Yep.
And it's not like play attacking. I mean, coming at me with a knife in the dark in an alleyway, trying to kill me. I'm not if someone runs my direction, I'm not stupid.
I agree.
Clearly trying to kill me, I'm defending myself.
Yeah. I think that's very green for you. and red. It's both.
Yeah.
It's both.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so we'll see. Maybe we'll have to retake that test because I had myself down as white, green, red. Or specifically white, then green, then red. But maybe I'm
that, I don't know if I see very much green in you. I think, like, your green has grown because of being around me.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's gotten to a point where it's on your color spectrum.
Yeah, maybe. I always thought it was kind of an odd thing. That's what I got the second time I took the test. But I always thought it was kind of odd. Like, it made sense at the time, but I don't think it might have been just like a snapshot of that moment. Yeah. Like when I was taking the test. I need to take the test with you next to me. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we'll move off of color alignment for us for the next 500 years talking about it.
I feel like what we've learned from this is we could spend 500 years talking about any of these.
That's very true, and we certainly have. We have plenty more to go. The next one, I found a fun little thing. This was Pokemon type. What type Pokemon? What type or types? No more than 2 with Pokemon. That's how it works. Would you be if you were a Pokemon? Or if you were a Pokemon trainer?
He found a weird little description of, like, what each type, like, person would be like. I don't fucking remember, like, most of them.
I have them here. We went over it when you picked
and we're not going to go over all of them now. It'd be the rest of the fucking podcast.
No, we're not going to do that. I'll briefly talk about each one that we mentioned.
But, so what do you think I am? I went based off of, like, kind of your description, but also, like, kind of what mostly your description, just because I was like, I don't know. I would have put myself as, like, my favorite one, but then I tried to put myself as what I practically thought I might end up being instead.
Well, that's the thing, is that, like, I might be wrong on this, because I feel like when it comes down to it, I kind of maybe thought you were 2 of your favorite types, but I might be wrong. I think that you're dark grass.
Dark grass?
I think you are a dark grass type. I think maybe, if I had to jog my memory, because of the website we were using, I think their description of grass, I was like, oh, maybe not. But I feel like in general, like, even ignoring that, like, I feel like you would be a grass type because you're just so nature-oriented and, like, in touch with the world around you. And dark because I feel like that's just that just defines you. It's like your personality. Like your clothes are dark, your interests are a little bit dark. You're like yeah.
Like if I was going to be a Pokemon trainer, definitely would have answered dark.
Yeah, you'd be a dark. I mean, because like 957,000 of your favorite Pokemon are dark types.
Yeah. Like there's no way I wouldn't be a dark type.
Yeah, your top 10 list is all dark type Pokemon.
And Blaziken.
and Blaziken. And Fire Chicken. So I put you as dark grass.
Okay.
I think that's where I ended up. What did you think for me? I know what I picked for me. What did you think?
For you, I feel like you would probably be best as like a. The thing was, I could only really think of one for you, and it's kind of boring. Like I was just trying to think if I could add like a second typing to you, and I'm not sure. I think you might be like a ground or a rock type.
Ground or rock? Okay.
Like very like set in your ways, very like
sure.
Stubborn, like still like unique, but like.
Do you think you have one in particular that you lean more towards, ground or rock?
Ground or rock?
Yeah.
I think I was leaning towards like a ground.
Towards
type.
Ground? Okay.
I was thinking of potentially putting you as like a ground grass type.
Okay.
But I didn't know if you were particularly like naturey, but like I think there was one in particular I was thinking of. I can't remember it. I don't think that I was going off of those descriptions, so I can't really remember 100%.
I mean, I have it right here.
You do? Well, I don't want you to read them all.
I'm not going to read them all.
Let me.
Like you're thinking of like a ground, like specifically like a ground and rock Pokemon.
Did I write ground rock?
Yeah.
I meant to type ground grass.
Ground grass. Torterra is a ground grass type. It might be it.
That's it. Torterra.
Take a look. Yeah. Go to grass type. Sorry, everybody. We're workshopping.
We're going through the Pokemon list right now.
Yeah, good. Yeah, because that's all mono grass type. Then you scroll down to the second row, which is going to be all
the different types.
Yeah, and then you just look for ground in the subcategory. Yeah, we have Torterra, grass and ground, and then just look for any other of that brownish color, grass and X.
Grass and ground. Where's Torterra?
Just there.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you're looking for anything else that also has that same coloration as you scroll down.
Yeah, it's like
the
nothing
ground
else.
is in front. Yeah, there's a bunch of rock grass types, but yeah, it is literally just Torterra. It's the only grass ground type Pokemon.
Because there was one in particular.
I'm a
I was
Torterra.
like, kind of like that. You're like a Torterra. Yeah, you're like adorable, but like.
What is blah?
Like not blah, like a little monster.
Like I'm a little turtle. That's cute. I like it.
Like you think you're ferocious.
I am. I'm really scary. Y'all better look out. That's perfect. So I'll read through this. First of all, I guess dark grass.
Yeah.
Was I right?
I put myself as a ground fairy type.
Ground fairy. Interesting. Okay, so
my legitimate notes say ground fairy because I'm weird, but I get shit done.
Yeah, so really quickly reading through for what you had, ground and fairy. Fairy types are weirdo dreamers and affected healers and caretakers. Mm-hmm. They have their own unique aesthetic sensibility and proudly hold at least a handful of bizarre seeming beliefs that they absolutely love to tell you about. They're steadfast lovers of all things strange. They often collect friends with idiosyncratic interests, niche hobbies, and scary pasts. They tend to be detached from reality, morality, and convention, seeming almost inhuman at times. They're non-judgmental, accepting, and curious, sometimes excessively so. Sometimes they get too hung up on healing other people to the point of codependence. Mm-hmm. They can seem childlike and somewhat sloppy, even well into adulthood, but tend to play it off with a likable charm. Human emotions tend to be very difficult for them to understand. Once you get to know a fairy type very well, you'll have this sense that they have a whole second life full of misadventures that they're keeping from you. Mm-hmm. Like their own little pseudo world. And ground, which let me go dig for real quick. So that combined with the polar opposite of the flying type, ground is practical, exacting, and perfectionist. They tend to be accomplished and talented, but they come about their trophies and status the exact opposite way. They're workaholic, obsessive, and when paired together with unreliable people, they can seem deeply pessimistic. Mm-hmm. However, they're deeply reliable and consistent. They get shit done. They love spreadsheets and organizational charts, and they bring follow-through to any project that involves them. They have great memories, and they'll happily bring up that absurd thing you said 8 years ago if they think it will help rein in your ridiculous impulsiveness.
Oh yeah, like bringing up the bag thing? Like.
Yup, exactly. That one stage manager you knew who was always on top of their shit but looked down on everybody for being less capable than them was totally a ground type. If you ask a ground type for their opinion, you will get it. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. They're honest, clear-headed, and decisive. Ground and grass makes for a great pair. The grass type brings out a domestic bliss and happiness in ground that's otherwise rarely seen. That kind of a thing. Right. I totally agree with ground looking at that. I think from that perspective, that suits you. Fairy, maybe.
Yeah.
But I think I feel like there's elements of grass that I really like for you. So my thought
But I picked ground for you too, so that...
I agree. I think 100%. I think, yeah. When I hit that part where it's like, oh yeah, they're obsessed with like spreadsheets and organizational charts, mm-hmm. and they're always fixated on that shit. That's so...
If they're paired up with people who are reliable, they're pessimistic.
Yeah, paired up with
matches
people who are
both of us very good.
Absolutely, yeah. Because we both rely on each other. If we could, we'd be miserable. I thought you were grass type because this one was the one you picked for me. Mm-hmm. I said grass because grass personalities blend consistency, nurturing domesticity, and hidden reserves of inner strength. If you're an independent, wild spirit, you may find yourself feeling stifled by their protective care, as if the sun is being blocked from your view by a massive blooming tree. However, if you're lost, anxious, or unloved, grass types give a firm rooting and can help hold you together. Mm-hmm. Grass types aren't boring. They're mutable. Changeable, though admittedly they grow at a slow, gradual pace. They're tenacious and surprisingly tough, and while they would strongly prefer to spend their evening cooking an elaborate dinner for you and reading a book while holding your behind on the couch, they can throw down and kick somebody's ass when the situation requires it. A grass type makes a fantastic long-term domestic partner, especially if you want to raise kids or build something that lasts together because they're intensely domestic and relaxed to nature.
So you think I'm ground grass?
I thought you might be. Well, I thought you were grass dark.
Oh, grass dark.
Yeah, the dark part. There was one part of dark that I was like, oh, that's probably her. Let me go see if I can look it up. They're charismatic but intimidating and frightening. They have a distinctive sense of style. They don't worry too much about what other people think. They're persuasive, challenging, and vexing. They tend to be somewhat depressive souls that have a hard time with genuine, earnest emotion, but they can overcome their worst impulses to become complex and fascinating leaders who kind of prefer to write their own rules for how they should interact with others.
Yeah, that kind of sounds like me.
Yeah. I think you're either dark grass or I am leaning towards ground grass a bit. But,
I'm definitely grass.
I think you're a grass type. I think grass is like you're a very like domestic soul. You're the kind of person who's just like, I want to make my home with the people that I care about, and then I want to be around them all the time, and I want to I want to build this thing together with another person.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very nurtured, like set down your roots kind of element. I think that's very you. I agree that I'm ground. I bet I was ground fire.
Oh, yeah, I could imagine you doing that.
Yeah, so I'll read through fire really quick as the last one to see where I got through it.
Okay.
Whereas electric types fizzle and spark with erratic, inconsistent energy, fire types give off a more steady, consistent heat. Confident and powerful, fire types can sometimes be a little overwhelming to deal with. They speak in a high volume that makes everyone around them listen. If you cross them, you'll get burned. Not so much me, that one. That's more my ground. Fire types are generally very extroverted and sociable, though they may sometimes come across as steamrolling a bit of the conversation. They feed on attention and company, and can sometimes develop big egos if not kept in check by a sensitive water type nature or a practical buzz-killing ground type nature.
Am I buzzkill?
No, I'm like in yourself.
I see.
Like because I'm also ground type, I don't let my ego get there's an egotistical part of me that is always kept in check by my very grounded, earthy aspects. Where like I get really like big and excited about something. I was like, oh, okay, rein it in. Like,
okay.
Yeah. So that's why I thought I was fire.
Okay, so I mean I agree with that.
Yeah.
So like ultimately you are a ground fire type.
I said ground fire type. Yeah.
I am a.
You're probably ground grass, maybe dark
ground grass, maybe dark grass,
yeah.
But some kind of grass.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
I see it. Yeah. Okay. That's fun. I like that Pokemon type one. That one was really neat. We might go through it in a later podcast.
Yeah, maybe like actually go through them and see.
I kind of enjoyed that one.
Even though we know ours already, we could always do them for you guys.
That's true. The next one's quick. This one's pretty
Yeah, this one we're probably not going to go really in depth on because it's not crazy.
As hardcore fans of Avatar: The Last Airbender, what would our bending element be?
You're going to guess?
I'm going to guess. I know what your bending element is.
We know what each other's are.
Yeah. You're an airbender.
And you're an earthbender.
Absolutely.
I remember when we first watched it, Ken didn't want to be an earthbender.
I didn't.
And I was like, but you're an earthbender.
I was like, earthbending's stupid. They just kick rocks around. I want to be able to heal.
And I was like,
fucking...
yeah, I was like, no, earthbenders are really cool. And also you're going to see them being really cool, and you're definitely one of them.
Because I had never watched the series all the way through. Half the cool shit that Toph did, I had no idea about.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, fuck.
I was like, well, also, I kind of had that same thing when I was younger where I really wanted to be a firebender.
Yeah, yep.
And people were like, no, like, you're an airbender. And I'm like, but I don't want to be an airbender. Being an airbender is lame. You don't get to use fire, and I want to be a firebender.
Yeah, right.
But I'm not a firebender.
No.
I'm an airbender.
Yeah. You're so go with the flow and so loose with the world around you, like very, very airbendery nature. You're just kind of letting life be, and floating on through it, just doing your own thing
with the natural world.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You're such. And then I'm such an airbender. I'm so fucking stubborn.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you were also just really mesmerized by like waterbenders, like fluid movements.
I think that shit was dope. That animation is fine.
That I was like, but wait until you see what like earthbenders can do.
You know
it may be like more grounded like movements, but I'm like, yeah, sure. But I'm like, you're not built for that.
No.
Like as much as you want to be like, oh, like the flowy, like elegant. I'm like, that's not you. You're.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna do a martial art, you could technically do anything, but like, I'm like, you're already like, you're built like one. You're square. You're Bolin shaped. Like
I am Bolin shaped. I'm himbo shaped, baby. We love it.
I was like, you're not like.
No, but honestly, like a part of what like Toph, amazing, like badass. But I was like, nah. But she was like extra fucking cool.
Right.
But like it was honestly like a lot of the earthbending techniques that like specifically Bolin and Korra pulled off in Legend of Korra. That I was like, oh, this is actually kind of sick.
Like super sold you.
Yeah.
Well, that and I need the airbending. I fall down so much.
Yeah, you gotta be able to pick it up.
I need to be able to just fly. Like take the legs
breath
from me.
Yeah, take a deep breath and pop back up when you're about to fall flat on your face.
Exactly. I need that shit.
Yeah, it'll help you be anti-clumsy. I love it. I love that for you. Okay, perfect. There's no debate there. Like we know where we're at.
We're going back to D&D for the next one.
We are going back to D&D. This one is a little bit more like freeform. It's not really like a personality thing. It's just kind of like where we see ourselves.
Well, it's a little less freeform when you think about how me and Ken have like we've talked very in depth about exactly why the category is what is our D&D race and class more realistically.
Yes.
And we've talked a bunch about why what we do as people and like what like our talents and like our specialties and like things that we just like have learned and do correlate to races and classes.
Yeah.
And why we would have the things that we have. Like multiple occasions over a few different years. And I'm assuming we know each other's.
I think I'm pretty sure of where you are. You might know mine. Mine might be a little bit more complicated, but I feel like you probably know it.
This one I feel like we should just reveal instead of going over a bunch of questions. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
You can go first. I'm gonna see if I was right. I'll tell you what I'm thinking in my head once you say it.
I have myself as a Furbolg druid.
Oh yeah, that's what I thought too. Okay.
With potentially one level of rogue.
Yeah.
Like just one.
Yeah.
And like early on.
You got some sneak thief in you.
It's barely that. It's literally just for the proficiencies.
Yeah, right. Yeah, if you were in real life. That's the thing. I feel like you would have like your first level in rogue, because that's when you get all the rogue proficiencies. Mm-hmm. Like basically for you get expertise in some shit. Like there's a couple things you do really well. There's a bunch of eclectic things you're really good at, and then after that you're just totally like fuck just the world. Druid. I'm going into the woods.
Yeah. Like I got a few druid levels, and then I took one rogue level while I was a teenager.
Okay.
Because that's when I like would go to stores and steal things.
Right. And push carts into fucking swamps.
Yeah, push carts into the swamp and like where I like really started like doing art like a bunch and like so I like took up some like tool proficiencies, some skill proficiencies, and like fucked around for a little while and then just went right back into druid.
I see that.
So if I had any levels at all, they'd all be druid except for like one in the middle.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't even be for like anything crazy. Like just looking at me, you wouldn't think I'd have a rogue level.
Sure. I think like at bare minimum we'd be like third level characters.
Yeah.
And you'd be 2 druid, 1 rogue.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you'd be a Furbolg.
Mm-hmm.
Furbolgs are very zen and in touch with nature, but
they live in the woods. They don't really like people or outsiders.
Yeah. They like their spaces, and they also have a very unique and eclectic set of random skills that they just happen to be good at.
Mm-hmm.
I can talk to animals. I can turn invisible for 6 seconds. I can make myself look like other things. Like, how the fuck did you learn all that shit? I can juggle. Like, what the how the fuck did you do that?
That'd be me, I think.
Yeah. As for me, and I want you tell me afterwards
if I was agreeing with this or not.
I think I am a half elf.
Okay.
Sorcerer.
I think that's right. I think we went back and forth on you being a wizard for a while.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, I feel like you'd be the dude that got your wizard powers or your sorcerer powers from like your bloodline. And you'd be like, no, I don't like it. I want to be a wizard.
Yeah, like I wanna like study this stuff, and they're like, nope, you don't.
But sorry,
Like I might even like have a spell book and like look through that shit as like a passion, but that's not where it all comes from.
Yeah, that's not where
it's all in me, and I think it's because honestly, like my charisma would be my highest stat as opposed to my intelligence. I'm intelligent, but I don't think my intelligence is my strongest feature. I think my ability to like make friends and blend in with a crowd of strangers is my biggest asset, I think.
For me, I was gonna say it's literally druid is because my wisdom's really high.
Oh yeah, my wisdom's fucking garbage.
And
no common sense.
Like I was talking to my friend Rebecca, and we were literally talking about this before, like, because me and her were thinking of doing a podcast, but it's just going to be purely a campaign podcast.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember this.
And she wanted me to do an art piece for the title, and she's like, I want it to be, like, not our characters, though, I want it to be us as D&D characters.
Right.
Like, okay.
I love that art, too.
Well, you have to tell me what you think you'd be most realistically, and so me and her went through and figured it out with a little help from you.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, so what would you be, like a ranger? And I'm like, I love rangers so much.
They're like your favorite class.
So much. But my dex is so bad.
Yeah.
And my strength is
And that's why you only took the one little rogue dip. You took the rogue dip for the skills, and it's just like, oh yeah, you can sneak attack with like daggers, and you're like, I can't fucking hit. Like, I'm gonna stab myself if I trip.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
Well,
that's why I got the spells and shit. I ain't throwing it. I ain't throwing nothing.
Like, my strength is okay.
Sure, yeah, my strength is fine.
I can hit people with sticks real good.
Yeah, your strength is fine.
But, like, I'm not a ranged combatant. Like, I even bought a bow and arrow back in the day, and sure, I made a few good hits, but, like, not consistently. Yeah. Like, they're not, like, my dex is not great. I fall down all the time. I'm not, like, I can be sneaky, but only for fun. Like, not usually when my life depends on it. Usually only for the shits and giggles.
Absolutely. Yeah, I see it.
I'm not going to help anyone else be sneaky, that's for sure.
I don't know.
Except for Pass Without Trace, maybe.
Right, oh yeah, there you go. I know where I don't know where my sorcerer elements come from. Mm-hmm. I just know that, like, I'm charismatic and I draw my power and, like, my ability to, like, survive a social situation from my charisma. Mm-hmm. I don't know, like, what, like, the bloodline magic would be. Like, if it was D&D in the real world, like, I don't think any of my family lines are particularly special or magical or unique. Like, I have some sort of, like, noble bloodline, because I guess, like, my great ancestors founded my small Connecticut town, like 600, like 200 years ago or whatever, but, like, that's it. Like, it's nothing fancy. But I still think a sorcerer nonetheless is like that. That's where I draw my capability from my ability to socially interact with others.
Right.
And the half elf is it's almost like the race version of the bard. Because I think there's bard elements to me, but I'm not musically talented. The half elf.
Well, you don't have to be musically talented to be a bard either, but you don't have the fine arts under your belt.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, other than potentially writing, but you also, like, don't like, use that as a performance art other than D&D.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I don't even really, like, write a lot of my stuff. I don't even, like, script stuff. It's all up in my brain. I just I riff. That's what I do. I'm, like, an improv guy.
Right, which could be a bard thing, but also, like, I don't know if that's where you get your, like, levels from.
I agree. And I think that's why I would be a half-elf, because half-elf as a race kind of has that element of, like, jack of all trades, master of none kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of like a little bit of the best of two different worlds, but not particularly as good at what either of them are. Mm-hmm. I blend in really well to social situations that include both, like, quote, human and quote, elven interactions, but I don't quite fit perfectly anywhere.
Right.
I kind of am like my own thing, distant, that can easily step in and step out of any given situation. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what makes me a half-elf.
Yeah, I agree.
I also have a bunch of random skills out of nowhere that are just like I'm really good at a couple of things. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, where the hell did you pick that up? It's like, I had an overactive imagination as a kid.
Yeah.
So I, like, thought about it real hard and made myself good at it.
I'll have to dial in on that sorcerer bloodline eventually.
Yeah, maybe I'm like a divine soul sorcerer and I have, like, some healing, because I'm, like, nurturing or some weird shit. But yeah, I think that's where it is.
So next
one's a little complicated.
We're doing the Myers-Briggs type.
Myers-Briggs personality type. You're welcome, Kat.
I'm pretty sure you know mine. I've known mine for a really long time, and I've taken it a few different times, and always gotten the same one.
I probably do. The thing is, my problem with Myers-Briggs is I don't know the Myers-Briggs types off the top of my head very well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know necessarily, I know what the letters are, what they mean. I don't know what they translate into.
Right.
So, I could probably tell you, I think you're this, I think you're this, I think you're this. I don't know what, the archetype is.
Right.
I know what mine is, but that's because I looked it up.
Well, that's the thing, too, is I know mine, and I'm about to look it up to give you the definition. I don't think we're gonna guess on these ones either, just because.
Yeah, it's gonna take a million years to guess on these. This is a very complicated layer. Those of you who are interested in personality profiles, like the things we do talk about in our podcast, Myers-Briggs is a really interesting way to kind of pinpoint your personality type and how it works. There's a couple of podcasts and things on them. There's a couple of books on them. I very much enjoy this, and I feel like it really pinpoints certain aspects of your personality. I feel like it hasn't been wrong yet. It's a very mundane and straightforward way to look at the world. But I feel like once you find out which one of the four of each of the four letters you are, you're going to get an archetype that is very, very uniquely you.
Mine was the INFJ.
You're an INFJ?
Introversion, intuition, feeling, and judgment.
Oh, yeah. I think that's the... Keep going, but I think that's the one that one of my best friends...
Yeah, Kat.
Yeah. I think she is that, and also supposedly that's the most rare personality
It is
type.
The most rare personality
Yeah, so
type.
Kat is also this. My best friend is also this. That's why I like you people.
Yeah, maybe. From the one I just clicked on, the INFJ personality characteristics, they're called the Advocate.
The Advocate. That's what. Yeah, because each of them has a fancy name, the something.
Let's give this a little click because I was just on the one I wanted and then I clicked off like an idiot.
Was it the? I know what the link is. It's 16 personalities. That's the one you want.
There you go.
Yeah.
Rarest personality types of all, advocates leave their mark on the world. They have a deep sense of idealism and integrity, but aren't idle dreamers. They take concrete steps to realize their goals and make a lasting impact. Advocates' unique combination of personality traits make them complex and quite versatile. For example, advocates can speak with great passion and conviction, though it doesn't sound like I am right now. It's usually when they're standing up for their ideals. At other times, however, they may choose to be soft-spoken and understated, preferring to keep peace rather than challenge others. They like to stand for what's right. There's lots of really cute pictures right here.
Yeah, the advocates are cute,
how they connect with others and themselves. That's the thing, is you should really take these quizzes for yourself.
Yeah, any Myers-Briggs personality test. They're
very, very in-depth is really what I was trying to say. They have strengths and weaknesses, how it affects your romantic relationships, your friendships, your parenthood, career path, workplace habits, and then it gives you conclusions and stuff.
Yeah, little extra.
I can't go over all of this.
Yeah,
but
and we may. This is another one that's on our list of topics that we may want to do a whole podcast on these because these are unique and interesting and fun. And we have done a lot with psychographic profiles in other ways, but we never touched Myers-Briggs, which is maybe one of the most iconic ones.
But who is an advocate? The INFJ. This little thing right here. It says that someone with the introverted, intuitive, feeling, and judgment personality types that tend to approach life with a deep thoughtfulness and imagination. Their inner vision, personal values, and a quiet, principled version of humanism guide them in all things.
Yeah, that seems pretty you. I completely agree with that.
Treat people as if they were what they ought to be and help them become what they are capable of being.
Is a quote about them.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah, I see that for you. You're someone who's you're introverted, but the N in there is for intuitive. You're the kind of person who thinks about the things that they do and the way that they feel before acting.
Yeah.
You're very much That's a blue trait.
I do have a good intuition.
Yeah. It's very wisdom based too, which look is funny because I have that, but feeling, you're more about how you feel as opposed to like the logical aspects of things.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really care about the logic of things versus like what like how you feel about a particular topic. And then the last one is like judging, which is the J. It's judging versus what? What's the other one?
Judging versus prospecting.
Prospecting, yeah. Like what yeah, that one's the difficult, the one that I'm like the least on. People with the judging personality trait feel most comfortable when the course ahead is well marked. They would rather come up with 5 backup plans than deal with events as they come. Okay.
Which makes sense for me.
Very much you. And very much me too.
I'm very go with the flow, so long as I have backup plans for things to go wrong.
Exactly. That's anxiety, baby.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think I am? Like, real quick.
Oh, I have no fucking idea what the rest of these are. I know you're not an INFJ.
I'm not an INFJ. I'm very close.
You're probably an E. I don't know what the second letter could potentially be otherwise.
How about this? I'll say this. I'm yours, except change 1.
Then you're ENFJ?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the ENFJ is also referred to as the protagonist.
Oh, you're the main character.
I guess.
Does that mean I'm the love interest?
Oh shit! Oh no, you're my anime love interest.
Oh, I'm gonna die, maybe.
Oh no.
That or your parents.
Oh gee. Well, are you my? Wait. So does that make you my waifu?
No, because we're in the show.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So anyway, a protagonist, ENFJ, is a person with the extroverted, intuitive, feeling, and judging personality traits. These warm, forthright types love helping others, and they tend to have strong ideas and values. They back their perspective with the creative energy to achieve their goals. Popular quote, a data quote that comes along with it. Everything you do right now ripples outward and affects everyone. Your posture can shine your heart or transmit anxiety. Your breath...
Like when you stand over me randomly?
Yeah, and I'm just like, hi.
For long periods of time, and I go, what the fuck are you doing? And you're like, I'm just standing here.
I'm just sitting here saying hi. Your breath can radiate love or muddy the room in depression. Your glance can awaken joy. Your words can inspire freedom. Your every act can open hearts and minds. Protagonists are natural-born leaders, full of passion and charisma. Forming around 2% of the population, they're oftentimes our politicians, our coaches, and our teachers.
You are probably like 2 of those.
A politician and a teacher?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little bit. Reaching out and inspiring others to achieve and do good in the world. With a natural confidence that begets influence, protagonists take a great deal of pride and joy in guiding others to work together to improve themselves and their community. They tend to be drawn to strong personalities, and they radiate authenticity, concern, and altruism. They are unafraid to stand up and speak when they feel something needs to be said, for the most part, but I also am very scared to do that. They find it natural and easy to communicate with others, especially in person, and their intuitive trait helps people with the protagonist personality type to reach every mind, be it through facts, logic, or raw emotional appeal. They easily see people's motivations in seemingly disconnected events and are able to bring those ideas together and communicate them as a common goal with an eloquence that's nothing short of mesmerizing.
It's funny, it has an insight of the day on the 16 personalities thing.
Yeah.
It says protagonists are the most likely personality type to believe in the concept of a soulmate.
Oh, that's interesting. I agree with that. I'm very much, like, in touch with the idea of someone, like, finding the one person they're bonded with.
Mine is... Advocates are the most likely personality type to say they have many secrets that no one else knows.
Ooh, you got a dark side to your personality. Spooky. But yeah, I see it. So basically, I mean, and I think that's why the two of us kind of see eye to eye on a lot of things, despite the fact that like I'm very stubborn and you're very much like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like we get along in a lot of ways because I'm just the extrovert to your introvert, and we mostly approach the universe around us with the same general goals.
Right. Except for the way that we approach people.
Right, except for the way that we approach people, which is like, that's fine. You're more than happy to just kind of stand back and let me do the talking.
Yeah.
And I'm happy.
And you love to just do the talking.
I sure fucking love talking.
the one thing that you're like, I'm gonna go see like 12 of my friends. Do you want to come? And I go, of course I don't.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Why would I want to do that?
Yeah.
When I could just not do that.
And it's nothing personal towards my friends.
Well, of course, it's not like I don't like anybody or like I just don't want to see anyone.
Yeah.
Like, do I hate you guys? No. Do I want to see you? No. Like, except for like the only people I want to see on a regular basis are people I'm very, very close to.
Right.
So it's like, while I may have seen you a few times and I thoroughly enjoy you, if we're not like on that thing where I feel like I can text you, which for me takes a while.
Oh yeah.
Then I don't really want to see you a lot.
Right.
Because I don't know what to say to you.
Yeah, that's reasonable. That's pretty funny. Okay, so that's probably going to be all.
Yep.
Knocking over printers and stuff.
Me and the printer having a fight.
Clearly. The next one is for any of our Sailor Moon fans out there.
Oh yeah, Sailor Moon.
Which Sailor Scout would we be? This one, I need you to tell me, because I have no fucking idea. I do not have a working knowledge of Sailor Moon.
For me, the thing is me and Rebecca love Sailor Moon.
Yeah, you are hardcore.
I've already mentioned Rebecca in this episode before. So we watched all of Sailor Moon, or most of it, because neither of us have watched all of it in English.
Sure, okay.
Because eventually they changed her voice actor, I think in like season 3 or 4.
Okay.
And we can't stand it.
Oh no.
But we watched Sailor Moon Crystal, which is really good. It's not done yet. It wasn't great in the beginning, but then it gets better. It's like the opposite of the regular Sailor Moon.
Gotcha.
It starts off not great, and it gets better. But, so for the longest time, we figured out which Sailor Scout we were.
Yeah, I thought that was fun. You mentioned that to me, and that's why I wanted to put it on this list, because, I feel like that's a really cool way to kind of get in touch with elements of ourselves as well.
And she is obviously Sailor Moon, because she's very Sailor Moon.
What makes her a Sailor Moon? Because I don't know. Explain it to me.
It's
I have no idea.
Because Sailor Moon is, she can be, this kick-ass, fighting lady who wants to save all of her friends, but also she's that little girl who plays video games and cries and she's but she's also incredibly charismatic. She's the reason any of the group are together and so it matches her.
Okay, I see that.
And she put me as Sailor Mars.
What makes you Sailor Mars?
I'm
assuming she's the fiery, hot-headed one.
Yeah, she's
the Raphael of their Ninja Turtles.
Kind of. Is
she red?
She's red, okay. And she's she's a shrine maiden who does witchy stuff. She
oh shit. Okay.
She uses fire to tell fortunes, quote unquote.
Sure. Okay.
She sees through it almost like a scrying spell. She asks it for answers and stuff. She speaks to fire. And she lots of her sailor things are she uses the spirit tags and stuff.
Oh, the Japanese the spirit tags you put to ward off evil spirits. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And she's sweet, but also kind of a jerk in the original one anyway.
Sure.
She's not afraid to speak her mind, and she's really determined.
Okay, yeah, that's fair to you. I could see why that would line up.
So I'm Sailor Mars. I'm not willing to budge on that one. But for you...
No, that seems so you, though. I think that's perfect. Which one of the Sailor Scouts do you think I am?
See, that's the thing, is when I had you put this on the list, or when you put it on, and you were like, well, I don't know what Sailor Scout I'd be. I was, thinking about which one you'd be, and I wanted to make you Sailor Pluto, but I don't think you're Sailor Pluto.
Okay.
I wanted to make you Sailor Pluto because she's the coolest one and she doesn't show up until way later. And she's the
coolest one. Okay.
Well, she's the one that she has a lot of trauma.
Okay.
And she's the Sailor Scout that swings the scythe that she has and ends the world.
Oh, that's a lot.
But I don't know if that's you. That's not very you.
Yeah, it seems a little dramatic.
Well, like she's nice, and she like everyone was like afraid of her because it's. I don't want to explain all of Sailor Moon,
Sure.
but
I knew you could.
There was like a thing where she ended up killing the rest of the Sailor Scouts in their first lifetime because they had to be reborn.
Oh, so she's kind of like a...
Like, their kingdom was being destroyed. Sailor Moon and Tuxedo Mask and, like, the Queen's Serenity, like, all of them were already murdered.
So they had...
By someone else.
So she had to, like, take them out so they could be reborn.
Yeah, because Queen Serenity had already,
hard choices.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like me.
Queen Serenity already, like, was making it so that everyone could be reborn in a new lifetime and they could, like, recreate the Moon Kingdom because it was being destroyed.
Right.
And there's 4, including her, but there's 3 other Sailor Scouts that are, or it's not Pluto, it's fucking, Pluto's the gatekeeper, sorry, I'm dyslexia. But regardless, this is the Sailor Scout that I'm thinking about. There was 4 that were on the outer skirts of the universe.
Okay.
And they were called together, which brought their, like, magic items together, which called the final Sailor Scout. And she killed them so they could be reborn.
Oh, okay. So it was all like I have to do this really difficult thing because it leads to a very forward-thinking, like willing to make hard choices.
Well, she just did it because she had to.
Right. Yeah, willing to make hard choices for the greater good.
But when she was recalled, people didn't even know if she could make that decision. They thought that if, like, she got called or, like, awoken, that she would just kill them all again.
Okay, I see.
But she was like, no. If she deems a world to be, like, unsavable, she just destroys it.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
But that's not who I think you are. I think...
Didn't mean to put such a hard choice on you at the last minute, but...
Yeah, it's not them. It's because it's Moon, Venus, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, and then Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, and then the fucking last one that I can't remember. Who was the one I was talking about in the first place.
Okay.
I think... Because, like, she's a toughie.
Yeah.
I know, sorry, guys. It's a hard choice.
Yeah, we're breaking it down. Well, I just want to know because I know nothing about Sailor Moon, and I want to know...
Because I want to put you as, like, Mercury, because she's, like, the brains, the planner, like...
Okay.
She uses, like, water like you wanted to be originally in the Avatar thing. She's, like, a water lady.
It's me. I'm a waterbender at heart. I'm a waterbender in my dreams.
But I also was, like, thinking of maybe doing you as, like, her. But, like, it's because she's, like, very, like...
Who's her?
Sailor... I think it's Neptune.
Neptune, okay.
Let me just double-click it and make sure because I fucked up in the beginning. Yeah, Neptune.
Neptune, okay.
Because she's, like, very talented. She, like... But she also is, like, musically talented. Like, how we're like, oh, like, you're like a bard. And
yeah.
But, so, like, I don't think she fits. I think Mercury, ultimately, is probably the one that you
Sailor Mercury. And she's the one, she's like the nurturing type?
Yeah, she's the one that's, like, she's, like, their guy in a chair, but she's actually on the field and is, like, pretty, like, gung-ho about actually helping. She's usually the first one they recruit in.
Yeah, let's, like, scroll down because I can see some of the personal information. Her weaknesses are relaxation and she relaxes too much and she lets bullies walk all over. Yeah, that's me.
Well, also, like, she says she relaxes too much, but she really doesn't. She's like, she goes to, like, a really smarty pants school and she's always studying and, like, she's like, oh, I relaxed too much, but it's like she took 2 minutes off. Like, fuck off.
Right. There you go. Strengths are she's very calculating. She memorizes things well. She strategizes, and she can swim. I can't swim very well. I swim fine.
Like her favorite food is sandwiches. So are
Her favorite food is
yours.
sandwiches. That is my favorite food.
She can do math. You can do math. Like
I can do math. I don't love math, but I can do math. Reading is one of her hobbies. Yup. Computers. Sure. I'm into like techie stuff. Chess. More strategy games for me, but yeah, I'm
It's
not
the
really
same
like this.
thing.
Yeah. And then favorite animals, cats. Yeah, I like cats a lot.
Like I feel like you and Mercury kind of vibe.
I see it. Sailor Mercury. Okay. And then you're Sailor Mars.
Yeah.
Do they get along in the show?
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, cool.
I mean, Mars gets along with pretty much everybody except for Sailor Moon in the original show.
Oh, she's a little spicy about her?
Yeah.
That's fair, though. Okay. That works.
Sorry, that was a really long processing moment for me. I was like, oh, God, it's so many cool Sailor Scouts. I don't know which one
I like it because I didn't know anything about it, so it's nice to kind of know, like, what.
Hear a little bit about the show and what it's about.
Absolutely. All right, so we have 3 more.
3 more.
3 more. We'll make them kind of quick. One of them will be pretty quick.
The color of your dragon.
Which color dragon, specifically Dungeons and Dragons dragon, like what those characters are like, what color dragon would you be?
Okay, I think, well, because the thing is when Ken asked me what kind of color dragon that I thought that I would be, I was like, do I have to be like a normal color dragon, like the white,
you can be a weird dragon,
green, or like silver? And when me and Rebecca talked about this once also, she put me as a silver dragon.
Okay.
But I put myself down as an arboreal dragon.
You're an arboreal dragon?
Yeah.
One of the ones from the Everglades of Arborea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's like it's the nature themed afterlife.
Yeah.
In D&D cosmology.
Big nature dragon.
You see yourself as a big because you feel like at home in nature and like connected to the natural world and very like arboreal dragons tend to be like somewhat elusive and somewhat spiritual.
Mm-hmm. And kind of standoffish. They don't like people very much.
Yeah, that's very true. Well, because they're not used to people. They don't love to be around people except for the ones that they intrinsically trust.
Yeah.
Yeah, that feels you. I agree with that one. Do you have any guess at what kind of dragon you think I would pick?
You, as a dragon, I think that you might be the silver dragon. Because silver dragon like people. They're the only actual, like, dragon that, like, avidly makes a persona for themselves and goes and lives amongst people. And then, like, sometimes when they have to go and do their dragon business, they'll, like, leave and then come back to the same place and, like, meet the kids of the people they were, like, super good friends with. And they're like, oh, man, this is awesome. I mean, I'm sad my friends are dead, but look, now I got new friends. Like, oh, my God, so fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely put myself as a silver dragon. They're fascinated by human nature and love to spend so much of their time with humans. Mm-hmm. They love to think things through for years at a time, planning for perfection. They tend to group together in clans, taking communal responsibility for things and don't feel the need for a strict social structure. They kind of just like their own little personal group. Mm-hmm. They try to learn from the people around them as much as they can. They don't tend to enjoy combat and are averse to killing, as opposed to most dragons. They prefer if backed into a corner they can fight and they can fight hard, but they prefer to not. They prefer not to fight. They prefer to talk things out or like outsmart their opponents. They also, unlike the gold and bronze dragons, which can be very, very zealous in their pursuit of righteousness and good, silver dragons tend to not go out of their way to bring justice into the world. Mm-hmm. They typically wait for others to ask for help. I'm very much a reactive person as opposed to an active person. I'm not going to be the person who's going out to put in my blood, sweat, and tears immediately to right a wrong in the world, but I will gladly follow anyone who steps up to the plate.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that fits.
They also, this is a fun one that I thought connected with me. Silver dragons also have a passionate love for varieties of human cuisine. They love to eat.
Like food.
Which is very much me. I love snacking. Okay, so final two. This next one, this one was one we created on our own from the My Hero Academia universe. If you had a quirk, if you had a superpower, what would it be?
What kind of quirk do you think you'd have more realistically?
Yeah, those of you who are familiar with quirks from My Hero Academia, they are a lot more varied than your average comic book powers. They tend to be very specific things that work in very set ways, and the challenge is the challenge is in trying to learn how to make the best out of the specific ability you have.
Right. Like some people have like really weird things like that have like triggers or like only happen in certain situations, and then like you have to learn how to turn that into a superpower if you want to be a hero.
Some people are like,
some person's superpower is big hands.
Yeah, one person just has that they can make their hands large, and how do you make that interesting? Like what do you do with that? There's one person who has like literally the ability to just make ice and fire, and another person who's like, oh, I have lightning powers, but I can't throw lightning. I can only produce lightning around me.
And if I do it enough, I get dumb.
Yeah, so you have to like learn how to like be carefully organized. You have to learn how to not get involved in collateral damage and destroy things around you. It's like there's more creativity to it, I think, for My Hero Academia. So, what do you think, if you had a quirk, what would it be? I came up with a fun one for mine. I like mine.
For mine, I went with the only things that I feel like would be useful for me, or like one is one that I thought would be useful, and then the other one that I went with was the one that I thought I'd actually just be able to do. The one that I thought would be useful for me would be teleportation.
Okay.
That I thought it might be like somewhat practical more for me because I do have really high anxiety. And so
you could be somewhere exactly when you need to be.
Yeah, I could be somewhere exactly when I need to be if I'm being stressed about being in a place, or if I do not want to be in a place anymore, I'd probably just automatically leave. Like I just
buy them out.
Yeah, I'm like I don't really want to. The moment I'd be like I don't want to be here, I'm gone.
Yeah, once you hit a certain stress level, you're just back home.
Yeah.
Like I guess that's that.
That would suck though because then I'd have a job. Like, and if I was just like I don't want to be here, I'd be gone.
Shit.
But I officially went with animal shape change.
Oh, just being able to shapeshift into an animal?
Yeah, into animals or one animal.
Probably multiple. You probably have multiple different. You'd probably be able to like if you like have seen an animal and have forged a close connection. Like if you forged a bond with an animal, you can shapeshift yourself into that animal.
Right, which means that ultimately I could potentially only be a dog, a cat, like a fish, or a ferret.
Yeah. But like if you made friends like enough with a fox in the woods,
yeah, I could be.
You'd be like, oh, I gotta like that'd be your excuse. You'd be like, I have to go run out into the woods because I have to go make my quirk stronger. Like,
yeah,
I gotta go make friends with this fucking wolf because I really gotta make sure my powers are good.
Plus, that'd be such a good excuse for like going to like get exclusive like access to like places in like zoos or like other countries.
Yeah.
I'd be like, well, if you want me to be able to turn into a fucking tiger, I guess you better bring me to see a tiger.
If you want me to be able to protect like everybody with my superhero job, you might as well let me have all these cool abilities.
But I also connected that one with like
a giant fucking bird.
How I thought more realistically I'd be a druid if I was going to be anybody else.
Oh yeah, that's
I'm like I probably would just have animal changing powers.
Yeah, you'd be able to change them. I think that seems like it makes sense for you. So I thought about mine for forever.
Mm-hmm.
I must have spent like 3 days on it. And I came up with one, and I fucking love it.
Okay.
It manages to somehow subtly combine my interests into something that also defines me and the way I interact with the world. So my quirk would be called help action.
Oh, okay.
And so I would basically, like, whenever somebody who is near me, like someone that I can see and that I can reach and that I'm close to, whenever that person is trying to accomplish a difficult task that has a chance of failure, I could activate my quirk and then basically like help them in some way. Like my body would almost move on its own and I could help in some conceivable fashion. However, it is based on my ability and it is based on like how much I'm able to meaningfully contribute. It's basically like a luck of the roll. Depending on how difficult the task we are trying to complete is, I'm able to help them but it's like a percentage chance with a difficulty based on the difficulty of the task. It's almost like a metaphysical way of rolling a d20 and adding a modifier. The better the person I'm helping is at the task, the easier it is to complete. But there is a chance of absolute failure or overwhelming success. And every time I use it, I run that risk. That basically being the drawback of the power. Whereas for yours, your ability would be like, oh, if I've never seen the animal and never connected with it, I can't turn into it. My drawback would be like, I always can help with something, but sometimes it goes really bad. Like when I roll a 1. I'm trying to help somebody like, oh, yeah, like, I mean, I've never cooked a casserole before, but I can give you a hand, and we blow up the fucking stove.
Oh, God.
Like,
that
would be my...
There's a non-zero chance we might blow it up.
Yeah. And because there is, that means it's a possibility. My ability, basically, like, I can't use it on myself either.
Right.
I can only help other people accomplish tasks, and it varies in success from wildly to no.
To not.
To the opposite of success. Yeah, I think that would be my quirk.
And the last one.
Let's tie it up with maybe the most obvious, maybe besides Myers-Briggs, of like personality profiling, and like also tied into a little bit of a spiritual element that our podcast sometimes takes on. We should just, at the very least, talk about our fucking zodiac signs.
Yeah, zodiac signs. I have my sun, my moon, my ascendant, and an MC, which I don't know what that is.
I actually don't have a goddamn clue what that is. You can mention that. I don't know what mine is.
Oh, I wrote sub.
I have my sun, my moon, and my ascendant, or my rising sign, and how those things interact. I also, I found a brief blurb about what my particular sun, moon, rising combination is. But there's like a general thing for each of them. While you're looking yours up, did you want me to go first?
You can go first. I'm not looking up mine because I have it. I'm looking up the definition of the sun, the moon, the rising, and the midhaven.
Midhaven. Okay, I don't know what that is.
Because there's a difference between
midheaven.
Yeah, midheaven.
Midheaven sign. Oh, you were just on it.
Well, I'm going up to sun because we're starting with sun.
Oh, shit. Okay, so first of all, our sun signs.
It's your primary sign that everyone uses. Like, that's the one where you're like, oh, what's your sign? And they tell you.
Right.
It's your, I'm pretty sure that's the sign that is your general overview. And it's like the person you put forward into the world.
Yeah, this is the face that the average person sees of you when you reveal yourself. This is your face forward self.
The moon is a consistently changing person within each of your zodiac signs. It's not the same as your sun sign.
Right.
It can be, but it's not usually. It coincides with your inner, deeper self. It's known as your instinctual self.
Oh, okay.
The part of you that governs your inner emotions in your private life. It can be very, telling of, your most vulnerable states and, some of your inner mannerisms.
Oh, okay. So that's the inside self, the kind that you don't necessarily reveal to a stranger.
Yeah. Those are the things that strangers don't usually see with you.
I see. That makes sense.
The rising frequently works hand in hand with your sun sign. It doesn't mean that they're the same, usually. Your rising sign is what's on the eastern horizon at the time of your birth.
That's how it determines it. Okay.
If your sun sign is your core personality and how you take action in your daily life, then your rising sign is the vehicle in which you do so. Is how they usually how they're putting it.
Okay.
Your rising sign is immediate, while your sun sign begins to show as time wears on. So, this is what you show to, real strangers. Like, how the sun sign's the face you put on in front of, company and stuff.
Yeah.
This is what strangers see you as.
Yeah, and your
people who know nothing about you.
And your rising sign is also like you use elements of your rising sign's personality trait as a method
as part of your sun sign and stuff. So,
I definitely see that for mine. I'll explain mine in a second. Oh, what is that midheaven sign?
That's what I'm reading right now.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
I'm just going to read this entire thing because I don't know very much about it. And it starts by saying, the midheaven sign is something that not many people know about. The first three you have probably at least heard about. Even the person writing this didn't know what the sun sign was until relatively recently.
What the midheaven sign
midheaven sign. Often abbreviated as MC. Your midheaven sign is a zodiac sign at the southern highest point above the horizon at the time of your birth. This sign relates and represents your future self and your career, reputation, and social standing. This sign usually offers insight into what you may need to find your true place in life. Your midheaven sign is also useful for understanding one's personal and spiritual beliefs, goals, and what gives insight into how you think and react to certain situations. So, summed up, astrology is made up of several different components. It's not just one sign overall.
Okay, so it's kind of like the future self. Like it's the goal.
It's the sign that shows you like what you like, how you're trying to achieve the things you're trying to achieve, and like what really puts you at peace in the places you are.
Interesting. I want to find out what that is. I don't know what it is, but
I have mine.
Interesting. Well, I'm interested to hear yours. My sun sign, if those of you who are listening couldn't tell, if you know anything about astrology already, I'm a Taurus.
He is a Taurus.
I was born in mid-May, so that makes me a Taurus. I am, Tauruses are motivated by comfort and luxuries. They are very, very stubborn. They're an earth sign. So they're very rooted in the real and the physical.
They're rooted in their ways.
They're very stubborn, very set in their ways, very attracted to comforts, and that's very much me. I like to relax. I like to eat snacks. I like to drink delicious drinks. I like to just unwind. If I have an opinion on a thing, I'm never gonna fucking change it for as long as I live.
And the funniest part about that is because oftentimes people can hear me giving Ken shit very stubbornly. And the reason for that is because my moon sign is Taurus.
You have a Taurus moon. It's the funniest thing ever. I love that. That's like the inner self. The inner self of you is you, and you're just like, no, we're doing it this way. Like, that's dumb. We're doing this. Yeah, I love that too. I obviously I empathize with that on so many levels. Because, like, me and you, like, your inner self is very much on the same page as my outer self. Yeah.
So, like, while Ken will argue till the day's end, most of the time for me, I'll take it or leave it until I really give a fuck, or if I know you will.
Yeah.
And while I give off the assumption like, oh, I don't really give a fuck what we do or what's happening, I'd really much rather be in my bed at home doing nothing. Maybe eating 7 pounds of boba.
Yeah, like the 7 pounds of boba you ordered on the Bourbon. So that was your moon sign. What's your sun sign?
My sun sign is Gemini.
Oh, of course. Clearly I knew that, but you all did.
Which is... And Geminis get a really bad reputation because Geminis are one of two ways, coincidentally.
Yes.
They're either the coolest people you've ever met or the fucking worst.
They have a reputation for being two-faced because they are the twins.
Yeah. And they're not necessarily two-faced, we're just wishy-washy.
Yeah, like you can't decide which one of the two things you want to do.
People think we actively lie about how we're feeling.
Right.
Like, even, like, not you, but, like, even in some situations with you where, like, I'll bring it, like, with our chargers. One of them is mine, and it's the blue one.
Yes.
And there are some times where I'm like, okay, he's plugged into my charger, that's fine, whatever. But then I'm like, okay, could you plug me into my charger? And you're like, well, I thought you didn't care. I'm like, well, now I care.
Yeah.
I want my charger. Go back.
Yeah, she didn't care about it at all until it happened, and then she's like, wait a minute, now I care about it.
Well, no, like, I didn't care at one point because I'm like, he's asleep, like, whatever. I know he doesn't like it when I touch his stuff. Like, I'm not going to unplug it. It's whatever right now. It's not bothering me. Like, there's no reason I should be angry about it.
My stuff. I don't like it when you move my stuff.
Well, it'd be moving it to another charger, so I'm not going to do it.
True.
And then, like, there's other times where I'm like, okay, I would like my charger now. So, if you could give it to me, and you're like, well, I thought you didn't even care. And I'm like, well, guess what, bitch? I care now. Give me my charger.
Yep.
I let you have it, and now I want it.
Cheers on a dime. very fun.
Um,
but I do feel like because of your Taurus moon, you are very grounded.
Yeah.
Like you like.
I try to be as practical as I can.
It's all very practical, reasonable things. It's not just like today. I feel like maybe I'll just quit my job and go live in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
I feel like that every day.
I know you want to, but you're not the kind of person who's just like, I just did it, and then I'm just like, well, what do I do with that now?
I ain't gonna do it, girl. I just thinking about it. I did it.
That's you in a nutshell.
That is me sometimes, though, but usually when I'm buying stuff.
Yeah, and it's usually very small things. Right? It's like little things.
But yeah, Geminis are fairly fluid, kind of wishy-washy, and they're not in anything critically important, at least for me. But usually in like the hemming and hawings of random day-to-day business.
Yeah. And conveniently, it also lines up with your bending element because it is an air sign, just as mine is an earth sign.
Yep.
I feel like there's a lot of overlap with those.
Well, that's the thing, is that's how people say that you are supposed to like truly find your sign, or like your bending is by your sign.
Yeah.
And I found that to be true in most ways. Like, since you can't be born to a nation, most people just go with their whatever your sign's element is. That
makes sense.
Your element.
Interestingly enough, because we are talking about your moon sign being Taurus, my moon sign is Aries.
Oh yeah.
Aries is widely renowned as the
child of all of the astrological signs.
Fiery, hot-tempered, energetic, whimsical, and youthful, sometimes to a fault. They tend to be a little bit immature, a little bit goofy, a little bit free-spirited. And the moon sign, of course, being my true self, that is how it is. You know firsthand, Hannah, that once I really became comfortable around, like when we first started dating, when I started to become really comfortable around you, I kind of opened up, and all of a sudden I was like this weird, goofy, oddball who just say the same weird shit over and over again, and do weird dances and run around in circles and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, that's who I am. I'm very much I'm goofy and a little bit childish once I've become comfortable around you.
Well, that's the thing too, is even for the best or the worst, even with my Taurus moon, when I become incredibly stubborn and cannot be moved on a subject, which is probably annoying as fuck.
No,
I'm also I'm enjoying comfy blankets and sitting around and just relaxing. And then with you, there's yesterday he kept fucking doing the rock on sign.
Oh yeah, I was doing that metal hands.
And I was like, what is this? What are you doing?
I did it once and it was kind of funny to me, so I did it 500 times.
He'd do it when he's driving and he's like, yeah, fucking metal. And
or I'm go to grab your hand to
metal.
Touch your hand and then I just do the
and I'm like, what are you you've never done this once before in your entire life. What is this thing you're doing? And he's like, it's my new thing. It's me now. And I'm like, okay. And then,
that's who I am.
Or with the charger thing, where I'm
going back to the charger.
I'm still stuck on that. Where I'm like, could you move my charger under your thing? And you're like, I don't even know how the fuck you want me to do that. And I'm like, move it. Switch them over.
I don't fucking know.
And I'm like, it's so easy. Just give me my charger back.
I don't know what you that's 4 steps.
Oh my
God. To unplug the charger and then unplug the other charger. And then plug the new charger in and then plug the other new charger in. And then I have to move the phones around because all the wires are crossed. It's 700 steps. I can't do it.
But that's that's literally our signs just fighting each other.
Yeah, it's
and I love it. It's awful because my favorite argument of yours is, I don't even know how you want me to do that. And I'm like, really? Because I could definitely tell you within a sentence on how you should do that, but I'm gonna kill you instead.
It's my favorite. Yeah, it's usually when I'm tired too. Mm-hmm. So just you can just tell I could.
Well, because that's your Aries. It's your baby sign being I don't wanna.
Yeah, I'm not thinking about it. I want to go sleepy. Talk to me.
Yeah. It's your Taurus calling your Aries, and your Aries desperately wanting to go.
Yeah, I'm just but...
And
hold on. Mom's calling, but I gotta go fucking go. I gotta go over...
and I say, first, you need to clean your room, and you go,
I want to clean my room before I get chicken nuggets.
Yeah, I'm just chicken nugget.
So I guess, last but not least, would be our rising signs.
I have my,
Oh, yeah, right. You have your other thing. Okay, so our rising sign then. I'll end with my rising sign, and you can do yours.
My rising is Capricorn.
The Capricorn rising. What is a Capricorn rising entail? What does that mean?
I don't fucking know.
Capricorn is one of the ones I don't know very well. I know all of our signs. So that's 5 of them. I know Cancer really well because I have a bunch of friends that are Cancers. I know Leo really well because I have a good friend who's a Leo.
See, the only thing...
But the others I'm like, Pisces, Aquarius, Sagittarius, Capricorn, I don't fucking know.
The only thing I know about... God damn it, Ken. God, let me fucking...
Sorry.
The only thing I know about Capricorns is I knew one Capricorn as a child, and she was a bitch.
Ooh. Sorry, I was riffing. Go on.
I know. I started that sentence 6 times.
That's the Aries is coming out.
I'm gonna kill him. There's a seriousness as to Capricorn rising people that is unmistakable. Even when they're joking around as if it's a deadpan... Even when they're joking around, it's of the deadpan variety.
Yep.
In fact, plenty of very humorous people have Capricorn ascendants. It's all in the timing and the fact that they don't giggle before the joke is over. Capricorn ascendant people project competence. Do I?
Yeah, you kind of know what the fuck you're doing.
They're generally very image-conscious people. Not exactly, but sure. The clothes they wear, the manner they... the manner... What?
And their manner.
And their manner are a big deal to them. Obviously not. They want to appear successful. I do, though.
Yeah.
And generally succeed. The worst thing, though, underneath it is you can't tell I'm panicking.
Right.
Like, especially when I babysit, I'm like, I know how to take care of kids, and I do. But I'm terrified I'm gonna break them. Like,
no,
I'm just like, oh no, everything's gonna be cool. Everything's gonna be cool. Don't worry about it.
Ooh, this next one's you, yeah.
Often the ascendant persona is the one that was forced upon them by family conditioning. For example, parents may label their Libra ascendant child as the nice one, their Aries ascendant child as the independent one, and their Pisces ascendant child is generally the space cadet of the family. We adopt these roles as familiar ones and often carry them with us as our defense mechanisms, in some way or another, for the rest of our lives. In the case of Capricorn ascendants, these were the children who were considered the responsible ones. Yeah.
Yep.
Sometimes it was they themselves who looked around and felt the need to be structured, dependable, and responsible members of the family. So often, Capricorn rising people adopted a strong sense of tradition, family, and responsibility at a very young age.
Oh, yeah.
Capricorn rising people are generally big on family and forever worry about security for themselves and their dependents. They come across to others as hardworking, competent, and dependable people. What others may not see under that cool, even suave exterior is their inner struggle. They often ask themselves, am I doing enough? Do I deserve all of this? How can I make this better? They worry about a lot of the future. If success seems to have come easy to these folks, it hasn't. They just make it look like it has, with their patient, hardworking, driven personality. Some Capricorn rising people practice some form of self-denial. They know how to do away with frivolous...
Yeah, with the frivolous.
With the frivolous. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Still, they spend money on clothes they really want, the ones with the right labels, that is.
It's not really you. Not that, specifically.
And other status symbols, although they're rarely slowly... Showy, okay. Their quiet air of success is often a result of conscious effort. More often than not, Capricorn rising individuals are success stories. Their childhood may have been difficult, but they slowly but surely turn their lives around. Saturn rules this ascendant and generally means that any kind of backwards way of living as children, they are serious and bear a lot of responsibility. As they grow up, they age beautifully, learning how to loosen up.
So you're very much like the traditional, like, I had to kind of build my own structure kind of person who...
I mean, yeah, when my parents were raising us, they, like, at least for me, they never gave me any real guidance. They were like, you pass or fail on your own.
Sure. Well, you were the third kid, right?
Yeah. So any structure that I had in my schooling or in my life, I made.
Right.
And also with the responsibility thing, my mom was like, oh, thank God she's so responsible because my brother was a walking accident. She's like, at least if he's, like, in danger, I'll know because Hannah will come running.
Right.
Like,
and that's the thing is that very early on, it was like you kind of became responsible for babysitting Hannah.
Mm-hmm.
because he was very like independent, free spirited, do his own thing, and also like smash all over himself while he was doing it. And so you kind of were able to watch him like a hawk and be like, okay, is he gonna kill himself?
I was born with anxiety.
Oh yeah, you were.
And so if anything was happening that might put him in danger, I was the one that would go running off to like get him saved.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, whether that sounds other than like
to me.
Other than the appearance thing, unless it's like I do care about how I like show up to places in the way that like if I have greasy hair like I do now, I put on a hat.
Yeah.
Like, do I care about name brands? No. Do I care if I like don't look like a monster if I'm not in my own house? Yeah, but that's why I usually stay in my own house.
Right. Then I don't have to worry about it.
Then I don't give a fuck.
Exactly. So my rising sign is Virgo.
Virgo, we know about Virgos. Yeah. They're the orderly, anal retentive.
Yes, the hyper organized, the planner, the chart maker, the strategizer, and this is kind of the vehicle by which I go about my everyday. I am the kind of person who says like I'm like speaking of specifically like the Virgo rising affecting my Taurus sun. I am the kind of person who diligently and meticulously plans his relaxation time. There is a specific way where I'm like, this is how I intend to have fun in this particular way. This is how I intend to relax.
He has very organized fun.
I do. I'm the kind of person who like makes a whole point to be like, hey, I need like yesterday, the whole thing with me playing video games, where I'm just like, okay, now let me sit down, let me get my spreadsheet out. Here's the things that I need to accomplish. I'm sitting down. I have 7 hours to play my video game. I need to make sure I do this and this and this. I need to go backtrack. I need to get this. And I need to make sure I have everything organized and that I'm properly checking everything off. And that way, I'll be where I need to be. So yeah, that's me to a T. It makes perfect sense. I don't have like a big.
We could look up at least what it means for you as a child if you want.
Sure, yeah.
And you think we have timing? We're already almost at a half hour, so we'll just do this.
Yeah, we might as well make this an extra long return episode.
Yeah, it's
I'm fine with looking that up.
What is it? The rising or what is it?
Yeah, Virgo ascendant.
Virgo. It'll correct me. Oh, I did it right. Cool. Is this one you picked one for me? Yes.
This is the same one, yeah. If you're a Virgo rising, people who meet you may describe you as organized, put together, and reliable. Friends often go to you in a crisis.
Which they do.
Yep, you know how to deal with things in order of importance and are a natural caregiver. Being an earth sign, you're also connected to nature and probably love animals. I really do.
Except you were like really afraid of my ferrets when you first met them.
Well, that's because I have childhood trauma that makes me afraid to hold and handle small animals. When I was like 3 years old, I had a neighbor cat come over and I thought the cat was cute. So I was playing with it and I was like, oh, this thing's really sweet. I love it. And I was like kind of following it around and watching it climb up trees and stuff. And then I got really excited to see it. So I picked it up because I wanted to hug it. And it got scared and it dug its claws into my arm and freaked out. And then I panicked because it did that. And I threw it at the tree and ended up hurting both of its back legs. And the owners had to come get it and take it to the vet. And I felt really bad about it. Like the cat was fine ultimately, but I felt really bad about hurting it because I wasn't careful, and ever since then, if I pick up an animal, I always feel like I'm going to break it. I've gotten better at it, like with our cats and the ferrets, but I'm still like a little shaky when it's picking up animals, and that's probably where that initial, like I love animals, but my initial fear with interacting with them comes with a fear of breaking them. And that's just childhood drama.
I see.
And what does it say here about Virgo ascendants? Let's see. One of the biggest personality traits of this position is body awareness. People with Virgo ascendants are sensitive to any discomfort or other signals their body gives them. Oh, yeah. Like every single time I feel vaguely uncomfortable, it's like everything I can think about.
I know.
Many are especially interested and concerned with physical health, and some are attracted to mind-body awareness exercises such as yoga. I like meditating.
You might as well fucking try it, dude.
I should. Virgo rising people are often rather particular about food. Although some have good appetites, there can be an unmistakable pokiness about what they put in and on their bodies. Sometimes, but not terribly. Virgo ascendant natives have a tendency to worry a lot, especially when confronted with new situations. They notice the tiniest details that others overlook. Many people with this position have a tendency to attract or be attracted to people who need help. Wow. Fuck you.
Really fulfilled.
Excuse me. You didn't have to come at my throat like that. The relationships may be confusing as a result. Despite the Virgo rising tendency to appear rather collected and professional, relationships can sometimes be messy simply because these natives don't always see their partners and partnerships clearly, because everything is like a help desk for me. I'm like Clippy.
Yeah,
yeah. There's a quiet charm to many Virgo rising people. Once they have a chance to warm up to new people and situations, you'll find they have a lot to offer. They'll help you out of a jam, go out on a limb for you, and surprise you with a natural modesty under a somewhat critical and standoffish manner. Yeah, I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah.
That's pretty reasonable.
Seems right to me.
And now, all right, let's give me your midheaven sign. I don't know what mine is, and I don't think we have enough time to look it up.
Yeah, we'd have to like do a whole thing for you. But my midheaven sign is Scorpio.
Scorpio midheaven. Ooh, Scorpio gets a lot of shit. You got two signs that get a lot of shit.
I do.
Gemini and Scorpio.
It's probably why I give and receive shit.
Yep, everyone's real spicy about Scorpio.
Trying to find that same website that'll give me it.
Oh, the one that we were just looking at?
Yeah.
I don't know if they have it for the midheaven, though. That's the only thing. That's just all about careers and shit.
Well, because that's what it does for you a lot. It talks about your future and your career and like what's going to make you happy.
Right, that's true. Oh, look, a Tumblr account.
Okay, yeah, we're not going to do that.
That's fun. Who knows what the quality of that is?
Yeah,
I mean, it could be really good.
We'll just go for the first one.
Yeah, sure.
Each person's learn blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Midheaven reveals what you enjoy doing for a job. With it in Scorpio, helps you define what would... Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. This is what it means about in practicality, and then the bottom there's another category of what it means to have a mid.
Scorpio with the zodiac sign here means that you can work with money or manage it in some way.
It's a money sign.
It's also a zodiac sign that involves inheritance matters, life and death matters, and any planet or important area that your natal chart Scorpio can indicate how well you share resources with others.
So you share resources in a way that allocates to your other signs, like your rising.
It says I should make a living managing other people's resources.
Interesting. You'd be like an accountant or like a secretary.
What it means to have Scorpio in your midheaven. It means I'm good at exposing the truth.
Yeah, that's fair.
People with Scorpio in midheaven bring light to the darkness. People with Scorpio midheaven love to find and resolve every aspect of life.
Find resolve in any aspect of life. So even when things are shitty, you're like, well, we can make it work, yeah.
They can be the ones who are involved in humanitarian efforts and even giving their spare change to homeless people. If you have a Scorpio placement in this category in your natal chart, you will definitely have an attribute of wanting the spotlight on you and how you can help create a better solution for worldwide problems. Would be nice, but I don't think I can do that.
Yeah. People born with a Scorpio midheaven are investigators. That's very much you. Investigation is one of your proficient skills, probably.
They're kind people who can see right through you and the lies that fall out of your mouth. They make excellent detectives, psychics, etc. One of their tactics in diverging the truth about someone or something is by luring them in with charismatic personality and charm.
You are very charming.
Once you let your guard down and your words start coming out of your mouth, they will get a very clear sense of who you are and who you claim to be. There's no need to put on a show with Scorpio midheaven as long as you remain authentic and true to your words and actions. There's no reason to worry. That's very true.
Yeah, for sure.
Scorpio midheaven means you prefer privacy.
Yeah,
They do not like to boast about their achievements. Sure, everybody loves to talk about their greatest life achievement from time to time, but Scorpio midheaven likes to remain mysterious to everyone. They're not the type of people to brag about their accomplishments. They would rather hear others praising their successes and remain humble about it. They don't mind being seen in a positive or negative way. Does that mean that they're cruel? Absolutely not. A Scorpio midheaven knows how to make a crowd applaud without being front and center all the time. They enjoy being mysteriously exotic creatures that people are dying to know personally. If there's one takeaway from learning about Scorpio midheaven, it's that they are people who are highly intuitive.
Interesting. And this is like, and that's like, it relates to the kind of person you eventually are going to become, like the person you settle into in your future. It's all futures. It's like future seeking.
It's what would make you feel the most happy in your skin.
Okay, interesting.
It's kind of already who you are, but becoming more of that would make you happier.
Interesting. I'm very curious to find out what mine is because I knew nothing about that, but apparently it was.
I mean, mine seems to fit me pretty well, except for managing other people's resources. I don't trust myself to do that.
You don't trust yourself, but if you got better at it, you'd probably be really happy.
I think it's mainly just because apparently I am intuitive and I can like see through people's bullshit, which we say I can do all the time.
That is true. That is a fact.
That I'd be good at allocating resources to people and for people because I know exactly I'm fair and I know where things should go, how much should go to who, and like how to do it in a way that's unbiased.
Makes sense to me.
So that's that.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool. So that was
a little get to know us episode.
Yeah, a little bonus. I like that it was a little bit longer because it's our return.
Right.
And this is like a good one to kind of get down to the brass tacks. Like here are the things about us, like to introduce like the deeper, more introspective selves of me and you. But yeah, so this is kind of also like a little teaser of the kinds of content. If this is your first time watching, that you can expect from this podcast.
Just a little smattering of things we enjoy.
Lots of nerdy stuff. Lots of like psychological and philosophical stuff. We like to like analyze and profile different things in ourselves and things in the world around us. So you're going to get a lot of that from this. We didn't really go into our other topic, which is we do a lot of spooky content.
Oh yeah, we'll get around to that.
We'll get back to that. Yeah, it's not quite that time of year, I think.
It also like I'm always like in a spooky mood, but it definitely pops out more during Halloween.
I think so. Yeah, and that's when we started everything last year. So,
but
yeah, we want to say, of course, thank you for tuning in and listening to us. For those of you who are just tuning in, we hope you got to get to know us a little bit better. For those of you who have been with us the whole time,
thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Welcome back, and we are very excited to make all sorts of fun and interesting new content for you this year. Happy 2021, everybody.
Hopefully this year goes better.
Hopefully this year, it's not a hard one.
It's already getting better.
It's getting so much better. But yeah, as always, thank you so much for listening.
We'll see you next time.
We love you very much.
Love you much.
Goodbye.
Bye.